Still waiting on PCE data set to come through here for January. A little bit delayed here for this number. We are expecting it to be 0.3% on the month over month for January. 0.3% on the personal side of things. There's the first one anyways, 1% to the upside for personal income, 0.3 expected, 0.2 for personal spending. Again, 0.3 was expected there. Still waiting on the main number there, 0.3 on the month over month. PCE year over year and the PCE price index for January, a little bit delayed here as well. We also got continuing jobless claims, 1.9 versus 1.86 expected there. Jobless claims 212.5 thousand versus 219, so a little bit downside. 0.4, so a little bit higher for PCE on the month over month number there versus 0.3 expected, 2.4 in line on the headline number there, 0.3 as well on the month over month. So basically in line with expectations there for January PCE as we get going on a brand new day. Market liking this, back to the upside we go. Not a huge move, but back to positive here for the S&P and the NASDAQ, which is good to see. Lots of earnings to discuss this morning coming up as well. We'll get a little bit more Fed speak, although it hasn't really been that much of a big deal over the past couple of days. What more can they say at this point? But I'm sure a lot of them will be talking about this. PCE number we just got. It is Thursday, February 29th. Happy birthday to all those leap year babies. 2024, tradertv.live starts now. That's a lot. We were just talking off camera here. Ramin has 4 friends that were born on a leap year. That seems like a lot. Let's just recap here for you, for anyone that's just joining a little bit late. We just got PCE, January PCE month over month, 0.4% in line with expectations. You come down here, 0.3 on the year over year number, 2.4%, all basically in line with expectations. So it's a wash essentially, but the market liking this. Downside, meanwhile, for the jobless claims 4-week average, 212,000 there versus 219. The actual number week over week was higher, 215 versus 210, 1.9 on the continuing claims versus 1.86 expected. So we'll see how things continue along here. Not a huge move for the overall market, but back to positive for the S&P.
Yeah, interesting moves here in some of the equity names. MEG 7 all popping up to the high side on that number. I want to watch what EVs do on the day today, because what we're looking for here is a reason why interest rates should come down. And we know that there's been an issue lately with demand for EVs as a result of higher rates, Brendo. So Fed pivot, question mark?
I mean, I think, yeah, we'll see how they take this. I mean, a flat print, but the market liking it overall. A few things on the earnings side moving around here. We'll talk about CRM, but I just saw that pop up and try and go positive on the morning here as well, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, and we'll see how good a morning it is. I just realized that's still on it's still on a bull, but hey, they seem to like the number. The jobs number actually spiked the market first. And then you got that flat number. Everyone was expecting hot. It didn't come in all that hot. I jumped into, like, I had a plan to short Intel, AMD, a bunch of other things. AMD came first. Intel didn't actually get to the price that I want, so we're going to be in this one right now. But there's a lot to look at, and most of it was ugly earnings overnight, or reactions to earnings, whether you're talking about well, AMC's down 10%, but I think more people are interested in what happened to Snowflake. Snowflake down over 20% on earnings, CEO out. They're being replaced by Google. Google head. I didn't think it was that bad for Snow, but it doesn't matter what you think. It's about that price action. So it was a heck of a lot to look at here today. I was at my barber, and we always talk about Bitcoin. Every single time I get a haircut, he asks me about Bitcoin. I walked in the door, and he says, "Bretta, I need to talk to you right now about something." He's Jamaican. Do you think he was asking about Bitcoin?
Uber.
No. He's like,
Blue Jays.
"What do I do about NVIDIA?"
Oh, NVIDIA, yeah.
So if that's any sign of any of things, maybe we've hit a top in NVIDIA, because he was pretty spot on with around where the top was on Bitcoin for the wrong reasons. But yeah, it's interesting because it's something that I've never heard out of his mouth before. He only ever talks about crypto, and all of a sudden he's asking me about NVIDIA lately.
Well, we were talking about this yesterday. There's people right now getting in for, I just was trying to short the market here. It didn't work out. We talked about this right now. There's people getting in to Bitcoin for the very first time right now.
Yes.
You know, I saw a meme of someone buying, they said like long NVIDIA 824, and it was like a question mark, right? So I bought the dip yesterday at 60,000 on iBit. So for those of you, I mean, we talked about this. We bought it in our own account. Yeah, wow, good, okay. So it was 34.39? Yeah, 34.39. So we're long down here into our account. And of course, we've been talking about crypto forever. And it is nice to see it moving around again here today. 62.6 right now for crypto. Nice move up, man. If the NASDAQ can get going here today, yeah, I really think there's some damage to be done right now. I mean, you just mentioned AMD. Oh, you're out of it? I was just gonna
I just got stopped out. I was playing it off of I was playing it off of the high when I was here. I wasn't here yesterday. Shout out to Obi for filling in. But I was playing it off of Tuesday's high. So I'm out of it. If it does end up holding, I might jump back in, but I like that Tuesday top.
All right, yeah, things starting to run around a little bit here. I'm going to get into Amazon again. The #1 stock by far for me yesterday was Amazon, and we'll see if this can hold out now. It's all the way back up, man. Maybe we should slow down a little bit on some of these averages here because the market's really getting going here on this expected numbers. So yeah, I guess we thought it was going to come a little hotter than we thought right now.
I'm pretty sure everything I saw said it was going to be hot.
Yeah.
Almost everyone was like, "Oh, it's going to be a hot number. Going to be a hot number." So it is a bit of a surprise. And then if you have the jobs thing as well, this market just seems like it's completely relentless. But we'll see what happens. Snowflake. Incidentally, with the futures popping, Snowflake has decided to go absolutely nowhere. You would think if there's a relief rally in the stock, it would be doing a little bit more than moving 50 cents right now.
Right, worth noting here, decent move down for the dollar on this number as well as the market gets popped to the upside. We're starting to bounce a little bit, but we get back down to 103.80 at the bottom there for the dollar. Yields downside as well. We were higher on the day to start for yields across the board, 10-year and 30-year anyway. Still positive, however, on the overall session. A few things to note. I just saw, not a huge deal, but for Tesla, Tesla facing a class action lawsuit by 6,000 workers. Looks like over in California. Once again, didn't move on that. I mean, upside with the overall market here, but worth having a look at Tesla again today, coming off of that move yesterday. I mean, and they faded it late in the day on the Roadster news, but we'll see. Back to those highs again.
Yeah, they're alleging race bias claims in that lawsuit. It wouldn't be the first time we've heard that for an Elon Musk company. I believe the Department of Justice was going after SpaceX for not hiring. I believe was it asylum seekers or something of that nature. And so it's not the first time we've seen this with Tesla or SpaceX.
It popped up on a volume scanner in front of me there. I mean, the whole market moving, but not really Tesla related overall. There was this note on Ford as well. Ford EV drivers now can reserve their adapter to access Tesla chargers. So finally, Ford vehicles getting access to the Tesla charging network across the board. Ford had a really good day yesterday, back to 1240 area, which is the top end of the range. Also getting a boost here, guys, on this overall market move.
I did not. So when I was going over the things that I missed yesterday in terms of like price action and whatnot, not gonna lie, Ford is not one of the names I looked at. Did look at Tesla, obviously. Double top 205. This could be a little something. That Roadster, those numbers. I mean, Randy was like, "What are you doing? Under 1 second? What's the point of getting 0 to 100 in under a second?" I can't figure that one out. But then again, I'm not a big car person. So look, this double top at 205. I'm going back to the 3-minute chart. I just feel as if you have 2 days in a row at the same level, and we're popping right into it simultaneously with 18,000 here. I mean, it's going to speak for itself on Tesla. If it can climb through that, and this market is shocked enough that we break out through 18,000, Tesla has been in the penalty box for a little bit. That said, it is very gently gliding higher. If you look at it since earnings, it's been higher. It's been higher lows into this 205. So should be somewhat respected for a little bit of strength. But that 205, until it breaks, I wouldn't buy it in 04, 04.5. I think you got to look for that resistance level to get taken out. And if it doesn't go, well, resistance is resistance until it breaks, as far as I'm concerned. And that 205. Got to punch through it. Hopefully at 9:30 or in that first 15 minutes, if we end up having such a strong day that the market just keeps going up, Tesla has a chance to get to 210 because that's the 50 period on the daily.
Someone said this, what's up, hamster? This market has lost the down button. Yeah, yesterday we were long Tesla down there, 201s, 200s. It was a good trade. It made up to that 205. I definitely like that level there. Yeah, look, Rivian's bounced back a little bit if we're going to talk about some EVs here. We're now in the money, finally, on our Rivian trade. We were long at 11.25. We didn't add into it. Maybe this name is one that wants to go. So this is a name that we've just taken a couple shots, well, one shot in. We're long at 11.25 right now on Rivian. Nice little bottom there, potentially into 10.50. I guess it touched close enough to 10 there. Maybe it did, 10. So good little level there for Rivian. Congratulations if you're long on that one off the bottom. You might want to, it's 10% clean. We sit here and talk about, oh my God, Bitcoin's ripping up. You just got 10% in Rivian in 4 days. So that's not a bad move either on that one. Ford does surprise me. And then I want to always check in on Fisker because this is a name that I know there's a lot of traders here, not here, but in our environment that is looking at Fisker. And that's another name that was a popular Reddit name. Obviously, I'm looking at the NASDAQ there with a nice little pop. But yeah, Reddit, we talked about this at 50 cents, now 75 cents. So Fisker making some moves here recently as well. So a couple EV names moving other than Tesla.
All right, let's get Luis Barbado in here from the Real Trading Office over in Barcelona, Spain, for a look at how things are setting up in small cap land today. Good to see you, Luis. It's been a while. How are you?
Good to see you, Brendan. We're very good here. Totally Real Trading Office. Absolutely.
Exactly. You like the graphic on the screen there? We got it all changed over and everything. We're good to go.
I know.
It's been an exciting couple of weeks here as far as small caps go. There's been lots to look at, lots flying around. There's more today. I was just having a look at this ENVB, up 165% already on the morning. Little teeny tiny float name. It's worth reiterating. Every time we talk about this, some of these low float names can be dangerous if you're trying to find where it might be turning and coming back down. But give me your thoughts here for ENVB this morning.
Yeah, first thought is it doesn't say anymore anything if it's 100% up, 60% or 400% up. For the last weeks, we don't really care about this. It's never enough. So we've seen 1,000 up, 1,000% up. So forget about that. Let's see the flow. Let's see the resistance and the support. But it can go always farther. And as you say, if you try to guess, to pick at the top, you might be too early. It's a little bit too late nowadays. About this one, 2.50 million float, I think is pushing 160%, as you said. But if it holds there and we see it opening strong, we might see another push. It's near some resistance, $250 to $60. That's a kind of a near resistance. We will wait the opening for a push, for a short squeeze, and then we'll try to find the backside short.
If somebody was looking at this thinking from the other perspective, is there a long opportunity here? How would you approach that?
Absolutely. I have to admit, we are not expert going long in this office. We're trying to learn since we have this crazy runner cycle, but look for places of consolidation while the stock is still strong. Don't buy weakness because it's pulling back, because if it starts to pull back, guys, it's $1.40 up. So a pullback, it might mean a weakness of the stock. So wait for a narrow consolidation on the way up. Don't buy pullbacks because you can get stuck in a long, coming back all the way down to $1 again.
Yeah, sometimes they just They don't bounce. They just go all the way back.
Pump and dump right away.
All right, let's move on. VLCN, another one moving around here. Tons of volume on these so far this morning. We get all the way to $3. It looks like the high on VLCN.
Absolutely. That ticker doesn't look so scary, so dangerous right now. We will wait for a bounce around the VWAP, around $2. We have the VWAP there. We have some EMAs there, interesting EMAs to go short there. We will not go long right away. We'll see if it consolidates and try to push to the VWAP. Around the VWAP, we will see, or we go short against this as a resistance, as a stop of the trade level, or if it consolidates above the VWAP, we might see a runner. It's not very common that we have gapping up around 100% and moving down and then reclaim highs. That's not very common statistically, but nowadays everything can happen. We saw it yesterday with AAPL. So, nowadays be aware of the volatility, first of all.
Yeah, there was a time when, the biggest moves on these always occurred in the pre-market, and then once the market opened, they kind of just went to sleep. But no longer the case. There's been this follow-through on the AI side of things. A lot of these smaller, little tiny AI-related stocks have been following the NVIDIA wave higher. Here's C3 AI up on earnings today. So an actual news catalyst here just took out 35, I noticed. What are you thinking here as far as, there's this SOUN, there's Big Bear, BBAI again today. There's AI itself as well.
All related with the AI, as you say, and everything, if a ticker is related only in the name, because it ends on AI, like GFAI, BBAI, maybe it's not artificial intelligence, but the ticker ends up on AI, and the human being is quite stupid sometimes. So if it ends up in AI, it might go up today, even if it's whatever, manufacturing or whatever, electric vehicles, whatever. So anything related with AI, take a look today, and also to the earnings. As you say, Mara, we have earnings on Mara, very important, and IOVA. I have a fellow trader here who told me about IOVA is overextended in days, for a few days, is giving earnings today. Well, we're going to look for a short side on this one.
All right. Anything else catching your eye here this morning as we get going?
Not much more. SIDU, maybe, SIDU. That ticker is moving up. It reclaimed the 750 area, the gap. It left there a few weeks ago. We have a gap there. It has been filled during the pre-market. So we're going to look for this 720, 730 push to go short against these highs of pre-market.
Once it seems like once we get through earnings season on a quarterly basis, you get this shift towards some of these high-flying crazy names once again. I have no data to back that up over the past little while, but have you seen somewhat of a trend in that at the end of earnings reporting season? We start to see these cycles of small caps moving again?
I don't think it has to do with the earnings seasons. It's just one ticker, starting the flame of going up one ticker 1,000%. And then all the algorithms and all the traders who try to catch this cycle, they just keep buying and buying. If a stock is going up 100%, they start to place bids and buying consolidations. Nowadays, you see a lot of algos. If something is going up, placing hidden bids and iceberg bids and midpoints and everything in the bid, so they support the bid and try to push it higher with tighter stops. So it's all about cycles of human psychology, I would say, and algorithms.
Nice. Why don't you give us an overview of your new office behind you? I like the new look there.
It's cool, man. We have a new office. We moved a couple of weeks ago here. Also, I hope you will see it.
There you go.
Good. There you go. You see there. I have here some fellas. You can see the fella behind the screen, maybe, but we have a fella there. You see, and we have nice views in this office.
There you go.
Barcelona city center.
Beautiful day in Barcelona. It seems like every day is a beautiful day in Barcelona.
It's always sunny here again.
Exactly. Best of luck, Luis Barbado, joining us from the Real Trading office over in Barcelona, Spain. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, guys. See you soon.
You could hear the actual oohs and ahs from the production crew, from everybody, when they showed the windows. Windows in Office make all the difference in the world, man. I'm telling you. Like, I mean, if you got to work in the basement, you got to work in the basement sometimes. But shout out to Luis and thank you very much.
Yeah, we have 0 windows.
I mean, like literally. We go to the kitchen. We go to the kitchen if we want to
windows.
if we want to see a window. Or you got to walk outside up in here. But shout out to you, Luis, and I love some of the points he makes about like, trading those small caps. Like, be careful buying dips. Buying a dip on some of those like low float runners is not the same thing as buying a dip on a trending like Nvidia or AMD, right? Like when those pull back, like they find reasonable levels. Like those other ones can pull back the entire move. But a couple of things, I'm out. You'll see I'm into the one that I probably should have been in and waited for. That's Intel, but AMD came out a second time, made another fresh high. So I jumped out of that one. We're about 18,000 on the NASDAQ. Took the short, hit the stop, took the short, broke a new high, took the stop. Now I'm going back over into Intel. If we hold 18,000, we'll see. But it's been an absolutely wild reaction, up 0.5% now when the market was down on the NASDAQ to that PCE and jobs data. We're going to Adair for some upgrades and downgrades.
Quite a few recent earnings names on the upgrade side of things, most notably Okta, up about 25% and getting an upgrade here from BofA Securities. Monster Energy also reported last night, and they got an upgrade from Jefferies Financial. Teladoc here getting an upgrade from Cantor Fitzgerald, and Coupang, which reported earlier this week, getting an upgrade from Deutsche Bank. In terms of downgrades, another recent earnings name leading the list here, Snowflake. Very much down after its earnings and its announcement of the retirement of its CEO and getting a downgrade here from Morgan Stanley. Macy's getting a downgrade from BTIG Research. Tapestry getting a downgrade here from Jefferies Financial, and Jefferies also downgrading Kinross here, guys.
I was surprised to see Teladoc on the upgrade side of that list.
Yeah, I think
not
there's
going to
so
lie
many
to you
names
there.
running like that right now. I actually want to look at DraftKings again here. Okay, so we are so we're going to try the Qs one more time, but it looks like it is going to break right now. We have a break just too much higher than, I mean, I was just like, okay, if we're going to come back into here and break some of these levels to where we were the top yesterday, then yeah, we'll get out. This is 2 days ago. Looks like we're making back everything that we sort of gave up yesterday. This top is $60.20 on the TQQs. I was hoping that the market would settle down and then we would be able to dance a little bit and open. But it looks like we're going to open at those levels. So we'll give this a little bit more room right now. But you can see our average price is 86, so it's not even that bad right now. And then we have Amazon, which is Amazon yesterday was an absolute monster. You guys, we had, I think we had 100 and something fills and all short off this 174, and it was so huge. And then we had this monster move down in the aftermarket out of nowhere. And of course, we can't get that during the day, but we covered right at the end of the day down here, so it's all good. Here we go. Maybe we do get a little bit of a pushback in now as we continue to be short on Amazon. So yeah, go find out Hedgeye there. Scan that QR code. I often see some things about Hedgeye giving signals and whatnot. So go find out all about Hedgeye. And the only signal you need here with Amazon is 173 short. I am bidding right now 50s. So if it comes into the 50s, we'll take a piece out and we'll see what happens. But right now, Amazon looking like a little bit of a downside push here. Maybe.
W, downside here this morning. Weight Watchers down to 283. Sean, you were mentioning this in the recap after the close yesterday. Oprah has said pass on re-upping her board seat with Weight Watchers. So getting out of Weight Watchers entirely here. So down to 288. This has been a rough year for Weight Watchers. I mean, we get up to 1150 and then all the way back down to basically lows again. If you zoom out a little bit, you get a little more perspective. I mean, just back in 2018, 2019, this thing was $100. Yeah.
Look, Brendo, I mean, they met expectations with respect to revenue, about $206 million. Their subscribers are still strong. They increased those to about 3.8 million monthly subs. But like as you said here, Oprah not taking up their offer to continue on the board. With respect to income, with respect to the guide for income, they're looking for profits of $100 to $110 million on the year. We'll have to see how they do here.
Shorts have definitely won on this one. Still 18-ish% on the short side for WW. She has also come out touting these GLP-1 drugs as well to that argument, on this conversation as well. But still the short side here, guys, for Weight Watchers.
I was gonna say, like, if you can get and afford the drugs, then that becomes a bit of a problem for Weight Watchers here. And I think that's been played out in the stock for a while now. The short float does make it interesting because when you're down 26%, I guess you can have an SSR bounce. There's a few of those today. AMC probably could open up down 10%. Already mentioned Snowflake out there as well. I tend to want to be shorting this. I tend to want to be shorting this one.
Did
Here's
well.
Sharif, guys. I tend to want to be shorting this, so I might just be waiting for some kind of a pop that gets me to previous support levels like the 310 level on WW. I understand it's got the short float in it, but I'd rather be looking for opportunities to fade this because it makes sense to me that they'd be under a tremendous amount of pressure. And I know they did some things with going into distribution of a different drug and enabling that. So they are trying to make some changes. At the same time, the trend is your friend. It's a flat bottom break, and when a flat bottom breaks like this, I tend to look for short back into previous support. That's about $3.10 to $3.15. So 10% up from here, and I'd be looking to fade it. Sorry, Weight Watchers. I think Oprah's got it right.
Yeah, Oprah has lots of stuff right. Look, I really feel like Eli Lilly is going to be where you're going to want to, be looking. You're at 758 right now, so you are making a little bit of a move down. I think this is a buy down here, like near 720. And I do feel like the market doesn't have impending doom or anything behind it, but I do think I've been, net short, selling some stuff recently, buying some Bitcoin, and I don't know. Eli Lilly, I feel like this would be a name that we would buy if it dips in. So 720 or so, I feel like is the best spot there. Weight Watchers is probably, people are lazy in nature, right? And it's like, if you can now just take a drug and control some of your urges and whatnot. I mean, I hope it all obviously is working out for addictions, and there's apparently a lot of different things that these GLP sort of wonder drugs can solve, which is amazing. But I just feel that it's just, there's always looking for a quick fix. And if honestly, if they're just going to prescribe this thing and it's going to become easier and easier. We saw yesterday, it was Vanny. No, was it Vanny? One of them was working on pill form and all this kind of stuff. So it's just like, if that becomes easier, then people will just give up on Weight Watchers, to be honest with you. So something's going on with Polestar.
Okay.
Just for Neil. Okay.
Sharif's yelling about Polestar for some reason to me.
All right, well, back over to Sharif and we'll find out why.
Polestar just for Neil.
Katina, because Polestar, moved 25% yesterday. It's up 9% today. So I figured Neil might be interested in that.
Yeah, there's some comments actually from the CFO, it looks like, from PSNY. So yeah, heads up on Polestar. I was just checking on this RVSN as well, one we didn't talk about with Luis there. Rail Vision joins NVIDIA Metropolis to boost railway system safety. So Rail Vision joins NVIDIA Metropolis to boost railway safety systems.
Okay.
So another little one flying around. RVSN just ripped up way more than 23%, but is already all the way back down. So as he was just saying, it can be very quick as these things turn around and come back. So anyways, let's get into everything else you need to know here to kick things off at 9 o'clock. Sharif's going to have a look at the market.
50.80, guys. That's where we closed out on the ES. Yesterday, the current high right now is 50.97. So let's see what we do with 5100 on that big pop on the back of the PCE print. To the downside, same thing as yesterday. Let's see what we do at 50.50.
If you have not done so yet, make sure you grab that. It's absolutely free every single day. All you need is an email address. Go to tradertv.live. Pop-up window will appear, and you just enter your email, and then it shows up every single morning for you. You get everything you need to know before we come on at 8:30. 22%. Snowflake, top of the list here. Ouch. That's a huge move coming off a disappointing forecast and earnings report after the close yesterday.
Look, sales increased 32% year over year. With respect to product revenue, is about to the tune of almost $750 million that they were able to produce. The guide, though, coming in a little bit light, Brendo. So the company said product revenue for the first quarter of this year is going to be between $745 to $750 million. The street was looking for about $760, and that precipitated the sell-off.
The first 30 minutes of the show brought to you by Hedgeye. Hedgeye was founded by former hedge fund manager Keith McCullough in 2008. You can get Keith's trade signals for 8 mega cap US stocks every single day before the market opens with Hedgeye's Momentum Stock Tracker. Get access at www.hedgeye.com/TTV.
So, like, if Snowflake was Palo Alto, then I think you just hit the buy at the 200 moving average, which is what it got to, and it might be bouncing off it today. So one of the founders and CEO out, and Ramaswamy is in. I heard somebody make a justification that a lot of times when you're replacing the CEO, you like sandbag. These are not my words. It was like you. I don't want sandbag's probably too harsh a word, but you are very conservative with your forward guide, so that you set the bar low for the incoming CEO. If that was the plan of action, then maybe you should have not given up 22% and then been quite that much of a sandbag. It's at the end of the day, they don't make money yet, Snowflake. So when you have some of the other big data, all the other big data firms showing lots and lots of growth this quarter, it's not a good look. It's not a good look for them. Maybe it is a short-term thing. Being down 22%, it does set it up for an SSR bounce, just because it's going to open up 10% down and be short sell restricted. And the 200 period moving average is at 176 today. There's no ignoring it. 176 has already been a bounce zone this pre-market. So if it holds 176, I think there's a bit of a long. But I remember that morning on PanW, and Palo Alto, which I think is a better stock, I don't think that's controversial to say, it busted the lows, and then it took at least half the morning for it to really settle down and bounce. And that was Palo Alto. And even then, it still traded further down. It was like 270, it tried to bounce at 65, then it tried to bounce at 260. So I would not be surprised if the first bounce isn't a good one there on Snowflake either. But the 176, it's the 200 period moving average. If it holds that at the open, it's $3 higher now. If it goes down there and holds at the open, that would be the only SSR bounce that I'm looking for. And if it broke that, I don't know, maybe 170. Not great. For anyone holding shares, hopefully they are just sandbagging it.
Yeah, we'll do that same play, gap to VWAP and short it if it does come through. Palantir though, I've been talking about this name since direct listed, price at $9. It's 25 again right now, and we're starting to take out those highs one more time into today. So we had a huge spike up there. That's just not going to be real, or someone just fat fingered that. But we're looking at a 25 break again right now for Palantir. So I mean, well up. We've gotten a lot of this out of here. We had longs written down here for Palantir. It's just, you know, if you're long term, I don't know if those were the best buys, but you know, dollar cost averaging probably fine if you missed some of this. But right now you're back up to 25 again. So let's just see if we could take that out. I feel like we probably will here off the open. This is just a 1 minute chart. So yesterday it was down, so there's no point in looking at it. But yeah, so we're already taking these levels out. I feel like if you go long 25, there's this 2470 sort of top right there from yesterday. So you know, it's up. It's not up huge. It's up 2%. Obviously, can get going a lot more than that. So I really think Palantir is a good trade here through $25.
All right, let's go on to AI with earnings as well after the close yesterday. Decent report across the board, better than expected. Shocking. It's AI. Just took out that high from after the close yesterday on a pullback right now, though. But nice look here for AI this morning.
Yeah, Brendo beating on the top and bottom line, guiding ahead of Wall Street's expectations. Let's look at what the revenue did here. $78.4 million in revenue, ahead of the 76.14 estimate. Subscription revenue was well ahead of estimates as well, $70.5 million versus the 66.77. They did post a smaller than expected net loss of around 13 cents a share, but the guide here really, really good. $86 million guide, well ahead of that 84.5 the street was looking for.
Yeah, as we said with Luis, if you were with us in the first half an hour there of the show, all these other ones going to catch a bid here this morning on this as well. So SOUN, there's BBAI, there's GFAI, all moving to the upside as well.
Yep, and 33% short float is going to do that. I just want to get a clarification. Thank you, Parts Shooter, for the super chat. We appreciate you. Can you guys explain ask, bid, buy, or sell orders in details and what to observe if we're going to follow major orders? So I'm not like that middle part there. I'm not entirely sure what you mean. But if you're simply referring to passive orders in the book, if you're looking to follow other big trades, like essentially you'd just be looking at the level 2. I happen to have AMD up because I was just trading it, but we can look at C3AI because that happens to be the topic. And if you look at the book depth, sometimes you can find large order flow in there where you might see, okay, there's only a few hundred shares everywhere. Then you see 2,200, which isn't that significant at a 35.5. And a lot of times, if I see a really large order, what I want to see is not just that order sitting around there not getting filled, but maybe moving with the price of the stock. So a big seller following the stock to the downside until their order gets filled. That's something that I would look for. But yeah, you're just looking at your level 2 in depth of book and looking for abnormal order size every now and then for trades. If I see that today on C3I, just remember it's going to do a ton of volume. So it'll probably chew through any big orders that you see. It's not going to matter. Up 2% today. Huge short float, as we mentioned. And if it's above 35, so this is 35 on the daily, that lower high is like 34. If it's above that, I think it's in that squeeze territory to the upside. If it fails underneath 34, I don't think I want to be fighting it long. I don't think I'd be looking for longs under 34 unless it got down into like the 31 and 200 period at 30 levels. So above the 35, I think it has a chance to break out. I want to see things break out at the open. Because it's at these highs now, I don't want to be sitting in it. I feel like the reaction to that number, maybe it's a little bit too much of a bias to these numbers, usually reversing at the open. But I don't want to be jumping into this until we get some buyers showing me that they want to hold a 35 level at the open, because that's the key one on the daily. Holding above that at the open does set it up for a potential squeeze, even though it's up 19%.
So, yeah, today I have AMC, Amazon, Apple, Affirm, and I'm going to add another one to this so I can really confuse myself. ARM. So we shorted ARM. We've been shorting ARM forever, and we've talked about it. I think it might be my number one, probably is. I'll look it up later. My number one stock this month. It's probably Amazon actually. Check that. But anyways, I feel like 140. Like if we really get going again here today with the NASDAQ being up. Oh my God, thank you so much. I was just about to go get one, actually. Thank you, Mr. Randy, coming through right now. Thank you, Randy. Polestar has been up quite nicely over the last couple of days. We've been mentioning. ARM. Yeah, strong arm of the law right now. We're just talking about ARM, and I think this 140 could be an area of concern. So we'll see. Here it is right here. If we, stop loading chart. There it goes. Okay, good. If we get to 140, I feel like that's just a good short. And then you can maybe hold it to this 142. Like you got, you're going to give this name at $1 or $2. So this is what we talk about. That's why, we'll talk about our ins and our outs and things like that, because if your plan is going to be your plan, you have to also have a plan with share size, right? And so I'm well aware that this name could move multiple dollars. So I'm going to be looking at this 140 level if and when we get up there, short it, take the shares, ask questions later. But 142 will be, I guess, a stop area there. But I mean, if we really, really get going, then maybe something. I know we've been trying to short some of these here today. I know Neil was looking at AMD, but NVIDIA 800 could be key. AMD 180, I've pinged as well down there. So a few opportunities to get into some shorts. And that's what I wrote on the sticky note, actually, today, if you guys want to go find it. I wrote down here that I feel that with this PCE coming through right here, this market rocking right now, watch out for some gap fills in the last few days and ready to be short, potentially some key levels. So this is my little trading note here for the day. You can go find it at Trader TV Sean, but I'm going to try to see if we can do that, and those are just a couple of examples there. NVIDIA gets going into the high 790s. AMD, I'm already sitting here to get short. Into 180 though, so, oh man, look at these wicks. Into 180, I'm gonna clean this up so it looks better. Anyways, those are some of the ideas that we're looking at, and I'm adding ARM to the list. Edit this.
All right, more earnings to discuss. CRM back to highs right now. Sharif and I were just talking about this analyst look this morning across the board. Very, very positive, to say the least. Basically, a 90-day average street low is where we are at right now. So all price targets are higher than basically where the stock is trading right now. That's all just this morning. So that entire list is on the positive side and to the upside for price targets across the board this morning after their earnings.
What a difference a year makes, Brendo, because last year at this time we were talking about companies cost cutting, and where they were going to do some cost cutting was in places exactly like this in the cloud. And that's just really reflected very well in their earnings. Guys, they posted $1.45 billion in actual profit. Compare that to a $98 million loss last year. Revenue continues to grow, going to about $9.29 billion. And Brendo, they're going to pay they're going to start paying a dividend for the first time, about a 40-cent per share dividend. This one initially went down on the release, and now it's back up about 1%. It was down about 6 at the lows.
Yeah, pretty impressive daily chart to say the least. I mean, this was what, October? Yeah, October, up $100 and change since October here for CRM.
You know what level it bounced off of in October? It was a 200-period moving average. By good companies, when they bounce off the 200-period moving average, I don't know what to tell you. Like last year, right at the beginning of last year, the stock regained its 200-period, and it just has not looked back ever since. So I actually thought this would have been a little bit more interesting. If this had been down the way Snowflake was down, I think it would have made it a lot easier, because the 50-period in 280 would have been a dip buy zone, like for sure, that 50-period moving average. Now you're looking at a breakout trade, which is totally different. I am short right now, and if I think there's some fade opportunities off this number, which right now there haven't been, 0 for 1 on AMD, then I don't want to be taking top breaks on CRM. So I probably sit this one out today. You could always get a dip. 300 looks like it's an interesting level. 296, maybe those levels will calm themselves down off at the open, but I don't know that this is one I want to punch the top on. It's not usually quite that volatile, and there's going to be a lot to look at today. Lots of small cappers. We talked about Weight Watchers coming up. AMC's in play. I'm looking at some firm in Intel right now, C3AI. There's a heck of a lot to look at here, but I love CRM. I own them personally. I'm not buying any more. I'm not selling any, but that goes without saying when you've got yourself a quality company in the long term.
And look, this is why we put out the quality recap show. Some of you in the chat were there yesterday. I was saying this is a buy down here at 280. We revealed the numbers. We talked all about them. We didn't really realize why it was down there. Plus, you had the 50-period moving average. So there it is right there, just by tuning in to the market recap show. You know, that 280 was a pretty nice buy right there. We didn't even talk. I mean, we went over Snowflake, but we did not stamp those kind of a buys. And it was a good example there, like a PanW, as Neil mentioned. Higher quality company, getting those dips in there, I mean, it meant everything. So that's definitely a buy down there on CRM. We'll see if it can fade back in today. It will not, by the way. So I would say 300. I mean, that's where VWAP is. We nailed Alibaba like amazing yesterday with a fade back into VWAP trade. So we'll see if we can do that again here with Salesforce. Pretty simple. Watch out for that 300 level. You may have to take risks with it early, but because it's an earnings play, we'll let it settle down as we usually do. It's either a break of the pre-market high, which now is 304.50, which seems pretty high with the NASDAQ running. So I feel like this one is a hands-off until we get a dip buy opportunity. So there it is. Thank you so much to people in the chat. Pranya there, everybody else, Nate Belt, everybody that was watching the recap show there. We nailed CRM, so I hope you guys got it, but it's tough to take it in the aftermarket, that is for sure.
Yeah, great looking chart to start the day. Let's go to WW, down better part of 30% here off a miss for them. If you were with us in the first 30 minutes, we were talking about it a little bit there as well. Oprah Winfrey deciding that she's going to step away from the company. She's been involved in this, I think, probably 10 years plus.
Oh, yeah.
And it's been a wild ride. If you go back to 2019, this thing was over $100. We're at $280 this morning for WW.
Yeah, Brendo, I mean, they narrowed their loss a little bit better than expected. The street was looking for about 11 cents a share loss. They narrowed that to almost half, about 6 cents a share. They continue to grow their monthly users to about 3.8 million. At the moment, gross margins looking real good here for 61.5%, which is not bad for a physical product. Also, some service there included as well. We'll have to see how they do.
Yeah, there's not a ton of volume, it's worth noting, behind this morning, but still that, again, 18-ish percent short side as well for WW.
Yeah, that's to me, that's the story. If it wasn't for the short float, I don't know that I'd be looking at that one today. Down 27%. As I said a bit earlier that I wanted to short the pop in this. There hasn't been a pop. Market goes up. Weight Watchers continues to go down. I want to short it into the previous top here at 310. That would mean if it got to $3, I'd start looking for the short. If there's going to be an SSR bounce in this, at this point, $2.50, $2, you're almost like guessing at levels and then playing it by ear. One note, as we're talking about names that are down 10%, AMC is not going to open up down 10%. Just a quick little shift there. I just realized we don't have them on the rundown. Disappointment for AMC shareholders overnight on their earnings, but it has already recovered. So it needs to hit underneath $4.50 for it to be short sell restricted. If it gets under that number, I start looking for SSR bounces there. $4.20 a level, $4 a level as well. If this thing gets to $5, that's been a pretty key level in the past, and it closed at exactly $4.99. So that makes that almost like a de facto take a shot at a relief curl on AMC at that level. Probably more likely to trade AMC than Weight Watchers is my guess, for myself.
All right, we're starting to, I'll only be trading AMC. AMC's actually on here as a top idea for me today. But right now, Amazon's really printing. We're in the money 30 cents. Going to be a big one here, hopefully, to start the day. I was just looking at this 430 here that we made this low. That's on the earnings. But right there's a 430 bottom from this week. I just think if we take that, we want to smash it short. I already have the order in, so let's see if that winds up working out for us or not. The futures have pulled back nicely, so we're flat on that trade right now. But Amazon, we just got a 63 fill or 62 fill there. So that was good. We take some out at the 50 period, which was 72, and then we got a 62. So we're back in it here. We're short 89, so it is so far so good here. Wow, there's still so much time left here this morning. It seems like it's going pretty crazily slow, but that's okay. We're just going over a few things. Let me show you this. Adair just sent this to me. Look at this. For anybody that is not certain on stock picking or anything like that, this is why it's dollar cost averaging if you want to just play it safely. And again, financial advice for myself, you know. Look, you throw a dart here, and you could have some bad luck and hit a minus 6.5. I'm not sure why this is red when it says plus 1.5, but minus 10, 13. You know, there's going to be a couple of bad moments in here, including 2008. You don't want to throw a dart and hit that. But what if you hit this? 28, 16, 26, 24, 29. Like, it's all over the place. There's a minus 0.7. So anyways, it's 11.2%. Over the last 40 years, which is a little higher than I thought it was, but nice little visual there from CMG Venture Group for the S&P 500. It's like, I mean, it's fun to sit there and manage your own portfolio, but I mean, honestly, like, to beat 11% a year, there's already been battles with hedge funds, and you know that's a pretty storied tale there that it's very, very hard to beat the market over time. So, but anyways, different strategies for different moments in time, so that can work. But for right now, that's a pretty good graphic just to show you that you can, you know, buy NASDAQ, buy S&P, buy some of these ETFs that we talk about. By the way, we always talk about these on the podcast. We've had a couple good pickups on that as well, including the most recent ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs.
What are those?
Which I bought in. Yeah, man, I was buying Bitcoin. We talked about this on the podcast, 51,000. That was just Friday, man. It's 63. That was the trade we left the show with, was that buy. So, I mean, that's huge. And then we bought that dip yesterday, everybody, and we talked about it because we weren't on the air. We talked about buying this down here at 34.39. So we bought some yesterday in our account for the first time. I didn't own any other ETFs other than the Canadian ones and, of course, crypto as a whole. But down into here, we had that, you know, falter out by Coinbase, and I was like, nah, that's too low. So I just put in a bid and got filled. I put in a buy at 34.50, got 34.39s. It did dip lower than that into 34, but look what's happening now. A nice 5% return there on BTC today. So we'll see. But for right now, we'll go back over to the desk and talk about two other monster names.
Yeah, speaking of the podcast, Sean, I was doing some planning yesterday. There may be a new look in the works.
Does it have anything to do with the green room?
I have no idea what
Nobody
you're talking
knows what the green room is.
about. I have no idea what you're talking about. Let's talk about Apple and what was the other? Oh, Google. We were going to talk about. Yeah, I mean it's been a crazy week for both. 180. We were just talking about, you and I. If you zoom out, 180 is a line in the sand clearly for Apple. I mean, there's the EV headline from earlier in the week. I mean, you guys were talking about this Roadster for Tesla pre-market this morning. I think that had to do a lot more with Apple canceling their entire EV program. Elon comes out the very next morning and says, not only are we going to make another model, but it's going to be a $300,000 model of an EV. So anyways, Google obviously with the AI debacle over the past couple of days here as well.
Yeah, I just want to build on your Apple point though, because everybody knows the story that Elon Musk went to Tim Cook 2017 or 2018. He couldn't even get the meeting with Tim Cook. He was in financial trouble. This is before the scaling of the Model 3,
exactly.
Right? Yeah, with respect to Google here, Brendo, not a good look, but it's good that Sundar Pichai is taking ownership of this issue. He says, we have offended our users and shown bias. I think that that's a clear of a statement as you can make. Adair and I covered this issue yesterday on the midday, and yeah, I think they can do better.
Yeah, higher here to start anyway for Alphabet this morning, guys.
Well, I like Alphabet here, but you know what? It's like the pot calling the kettle black. We have Elon Musk out there, talking all about like, oh, look, I can't believe that, the forefathers were black and all this kind of stuff. Meanwhile, this is the guy that has the workers walking out on him because of, similar issues. So this is all what it's about right now. I still like
He's
Google.
not hesitant to like take his shots, but it's
no. That's what I'm saying.
When you don't pay for advertising, you've got to get your advertising in other ways.
The guy's throwing rocks in glass houses, but I mean I like the guy. But okay, so anyways, down here, I think Google's at a good spot. I mean, it's at 135 right now. It's sort of taking its lumps. It's similar to Apple. So Apple's actually down on the year. Like, if you guys can believe this, like Apple's down 6% on the year or so, right? Google right now is getting close to being red on the year as well, if not already. Like January, I guess it is, because January, it's right into here. Yeah, 136, 137. So another one of the big cap names that are down on the year, right? You're going to have names like Meta, Amazon, obviously NVIDIA, and some of these other names that are nowhere near any of their bottoms for the year, right? So if you're sitting in Apple and you're sitting in Google, I've told you Google's one of my biggest position. It's been pretty bad. I mean, even Microsoft from January, 368, up to 409. So, Meta's going to be the best, NVIDIA's going to be the best. They're all going to be there. But for me, I think Google's not doing much wrong. And YouTube is, look at why is there so many random wicks now? I don't know. But anyways, I just feel like this is a pretty bad move. I feel that you can buy it up. The 200 period, once this loads, is probably, where are we on the 200? We must be getting close whenever this loads. Oh, there it is right there. So yeah, so 133, well, I mean, this is a good spot. I like this buy here today. We'll see if it holds 135. I mean, you're nicely up right now. The market's up as well. So I still want to stay red on this market. So I'm not convinced about anything with Google, but I think Apple is on the sticky note. I already have that order ready to go. This is a short at 182, and I'm going to sit there and take it. I should have took it earlier. We were only looking at Amazon, but that was a good little trade in there at 830. So we'll wait to see if 182 pops up again.
Apple's still relatively weak here. I mean, the NASDAQ has been green and got half point up. Apple essentially, it was green for a bit. Now you're more or less flat. The 180 level is still pretty much the granddaddy. It's not just the last 2 days that it's bounced off 180. If you pull back to the daily chart, it's been bouncing off of 180 since literally the beginning of the year. It is, it's an obvious support level. Every single time you've gone long in front of it, you have won. At some point, it is going to break. Eventually, when it breaks, I'd look short on that break. But until that happens, it's been bouncing every single time. I actually liked 183, but I'm not even sure this is strong enough to get to the 183 for a fade zone. I recently picked up a little bit of Google, just wanted to add to it. But this one is a little bit different because it's trading a bit inside the range. I didn't really observe the 137 yesterday. And I still love it, the short in front of the 140, which I don't know that we get today. And the flat bottom break, which if we get down there, it's probably Apple breaking 180 as opposed to 135. But Google is still relatively weak as well compared to the overall market. So it's hard to want to look for some shorts there. Just because we haven't pulled up I don't think we pulled up a chart of NVIDIA this morning. Worth doing so at least here. Check out call it what you want, call it the pennant, bull flag, whatever. For those of you, I mean, like, depending on what kind of a sports fan you are, you might have no idea what a pennant looks like if you're like a Cubs fan or something like that. But this is what pretty much a classic consolidation up at the top going on in NVIDIA. And if it were to break out this top, you could get right in. I got all the same wicks here too as well. It's a little frustrating.
Yeah, they're bad today.
Okay, you can sort of see like the 800 level. If we do get a break and this is the top, it hasn't been the 800 level on NVIDIA that to me has been the fade. It's like 8 to 805. So if we do press up to the 800 level, I don't think it's necessarily a big short until it gets closer to the 805 level there for NVIDIA. Is what it is. The market's holding the 18,000 level. As well, if you look at what we're doing with the NASDAQ, yes, we're pressing higher. Everyone's like, why are you like shorting stuff? Well, I mean, look at the resistance that's been up here on the futures between 18,000 and 18,100. It's just a ton of resistance the last week. So anything that is setting up at a resistance level up here, I'm looking shorts. I mean, Intel, the reason I'm short that, flat bottom broke 42.25, sorry, 42.5, and I'm now short going back into that flat bottom break. That it just actually put on yesterday, believe it or not. So we'll see what happens. I think we're at some resistance on these futures, and that's the reason to start looking for a few fade plays with about 3 minutes to go here on Thursday.
All right, guys, we are talking about random walk hypothesis today on how to trade. If you don't like technical analysis, you'll definitely want to watch this lesson. Check that out at 11 o'clock with Adair and I.
Just real quick before we get to the bell, I wanted to mention Birkenstock as well. We didn't touch on it this morning, but this has been, the daily chart actually looks pretty good on this for an IPO that came out just going back to last year. But Birkenstock reported downside this morning. The earnings actually beat, but it was a little soft on the guide here for BIRK.
Yeah, I didn't even look at Birkenstock, but yeah, they have been a great IPO. So BIRK right here. We'll have a quick look. Look at the spread, man. $1.50 with only 30,000. So I don't know, down in here. Yeah, I mean, 45, 46 bucks. That looks like a decent little level, but probably not much that going to be trading here. Today, 9:27, so 3 minutes to go. I feel like this market right here, like it's not. We've just bounced off the 50 period. We could have got out for flat there. I mean, we're short at 91. The 50 period is at 91. So, the market, I mean, it's the same thing as the NASDAQ. We're not really heading lower. We tried small shares in here to begin with off sort of that pre-market top with that move higher, but it has continued. We've seen PCE and, employment figures and all that kind of rally the market into opens and it's faded out, but it does take a couple minutes to do that. So we are going to get out. We already talked about where our out was on here, a break above the 60-20 area. And the reason why I like it, I was just thinking we weren't going to get up into this area. And some of these wicks go pretty high, man, 60-40. I don't want to wait for that. So like into 20s, 25s right here, we'll get out of this. And it's funny because I was just debating flipping it over, and not flipping it into the long, but getting out down there in and around flat. It's not going to be a lot of damage, but it does suck to not have that happen. 172.60 right there. We did take an out on Amazon, but hey, right now we'll figure out if there is any major imbalances coming through. NIO with a bid. We had some XPEV news today. That's about it. Oh yeah, Palantir. I think I like this 25 break. So. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to see this market settle down, honestly. We're still up 1%. That's pretty.
Just to make a bit of a point here, great look by Luis talking about being careful buying dips on some of the low float runners. Have a look at PSNY, which was Sharif yelling at us to pay attention to this one. Still up 12%, but that just went after pushing 40 cents higher from $1.90 right back into the $2 level. So you got to be very careful when you buy dips on some of these coming back. Yesterday's high, 195. This looks interesting for if it can hold $2, sorry, yesterday it looks like $2 was the high. If it can hold the $2 level here at the open, I don't see a lot of size in that bid. That would be a nice little spot for it to ramp up again. But the first test is going to be off some of this resistance that we've seen in the futures right away at the open. I don't want to be punching, I don't want to be looking long at the highs. So that's not going to be part of my modus operandi. But PSNY now on my radar for this $2 level hold at the open. Doesn't mean it has to hold $2. But if it does hold that $2 level, I do like a potential bounce. Let's get the countdown going on this Thursday in 5, 4, 3, 2, and you know what to do.
So I don't know what's going on with your Intel. I see that you have it, but right now AMD is like cranking to the upside like crazy.
NVIDIA is going.
181 right now for AMD.
181?
I mean, this is, yeah, that's what I was asking you. I know you're in Intel.
Well, it's at the highs too.
Okay,
but
so,
it's not that.
Right, so this is what I'm worried about. So we'll go short here against that 181, but wow. Huge move right now to the upside in some of these names, in the chip names specifically right now. And that will get us out of our TQQ as that's going to the upside right now as well. So, wow, look at this, man. The NASDAQ is really on one here today early. We said that there could be some fade moves, but wow, this is coming in pretty quickly right now. Wow, see? So, like, so be it. Some of these numbers coming in today, huge numbers on, I mean, they're as expected.
That's the crazy.
And this is the crazy move about it.
Everyone was expecting hot. Everyone was expecting hot, and it ended up not being, I guess, as bad as everyone expected because it's still 2.4. But at the end of the day, I'm out of Intel. It did break that resistance level. Sorry, I just got into Polestar. We did break out that previous top. So once you're through that top, I'm out. That was a hard line in the stand. I am in PSNY. It just bounced off $2 pretty much like right away. Bounced off the $2 level. There's size at 4, 6, and 10. And I just grabbed 12s as we're now at 18.05. The market absolutely flying right now.
Yeah, this is nuts. Okay, well, so all of those shorts that we had basically got hit out there, like pretty quickly there as well. AMD though, I don't want to be too stubborn with it, so we got out of that one real quick, man.
Oh, shoot, Affirm.
That took 180. Is Affirm all the way up there again already?
No, it fell. Affirm's going
Affirm
down.
Fell. Okay. All right. Well, we'll try AMD one more time, but Amazon right now, that's going to be the one. So we missed it. Oh, I thought we got a short up there. Okay, we did not. All right, I thought we had got some more short into Amazon up there near the top, but we didn't. So we're going to wait for one. Oh, no. Now look at my computer is really chugging for some reason. 173.60 there, the high for Amazon. My bad, I did think we got more into that one. We are into the short of Apple right now. This is the one that I don't mind breaking through 182. We'll try out for this. There we go, get some bids in there now. But here's a short that we liked was Apple down at these levels. But this market, man, that was not the move that I was expecting right off the open. But, you know, maybe it'll settle down here somewhere.
Sometimes that's how it is. So we wicked the high on Intel underneath that 60 again. So I'm back at it with a stop at that previous high. But what I was yelling about for Affirm was that as the market made a fresh high at the open, Affirm sold at the open through 30, like 39 was the top. So if it breaks 39, just to give you an idea, 39.5 is yesterday's high and the day before. So the last 2 days, 39.5 has been resistance. But if it never breaks 39 when the market's breaking out, I would look for a fade on Affirm. Pretty relatively weak name there. You mentioned Apple 182. Okay, it's right there right now. Oh, and one last one for you because I don't think we got to Meta. Come on, Meta, load, PC load letter. Meta failed a top break as well. So wicked the high and came right back in. This could be like a double tap of those highs. But Polestar and Intel for me kind of sticking with the first two names. But Meta on the radar. If we hold 18,000, this one would like to see 495, if not 500.
Yeah, we got into our short here of the day. Well, we'll see. Again, so we are short. Sorry, that's AMD I was looking at, not Apple the first time. Apple's a good one here, 23s. We just took another piece out. We lost on AMD. AMD did get going, though, again. So we'll wait for that. But this is the trade that I'm talking about here. I'm just getting out of some more Apple here because it's bouncing off 182. We indicated that we like the 182 level for a short. So We're short now at 182.20. This could be a good name. Pull back into, what was that, an 80 level there. We'll put a bid down here if it does come through, but look at that, a nice move right back to the upside there. This market just jolted itself. I was putting some bids down there at 182, and then this happened. Okay, so it's this one here. It's Amazon. We're going to have to watch it. We're short at 40s right now. We're starting to go. This is that same trade that we had yesterday off of 174. Unfortunately, we got started in the pre-market at 173, got some fills, and now we're starting to get some out here as it pushes back into our levels. So hopefully Amazon can come back in, fade through this, and then we can maybe get VWAP down here at 20. But I think VWAP is doing pretty good considering what this market's doing. Is there news out here, Adara?
I just have one stock that's moving extremely well right now. You have Celsius holding CELH. This one has about a short float of roughly 15.7%. Earnings beat across the board here. Good look for CELH. I will see if there's any other news going on, guys.
Yeah, so it's funny when the market's flying, the only thing I have long is a small capper, which shouldn't care what the market is doing. But the one name that did not break the high, and actually there were sellers at the open, I'm in, going to risk about 30 cents on a firm. Going to have a stop. You have to have stops when you trade. But this has been, we're flying. We're actually almost up 1%. I said I did not want to go long at tops, so I am not long anything just yet.
I can't believe
if you are looking at something which we sort of talked about, dip buys on stocks, CRM actually gave you pre-market lows in there at 295. If it can hold 300 on a higher low, that looks pretty decent as well. So affirm the new position for me, but CRM I'm going to start keeping an eye on as well. Affirm holding underneath that top. I know it's up, but when the market broke higher, this actually wicked its top, which is a sign of relative weakness. That's the reason I like it. I'm back into Intel off of the same level. Just to give you a look on, this is what I'm getting at for a firm. Couldn't break higher at the open. Intel as well, I got stopped out initially, and then we're back in off of yesterday's top when it wicked that high. So short two names, long one small cap. Oh, and by the way, BTC there at 63,
yes.
63.45. It just tagged very close to that top, maybe $100 short of that high.
Yeah, buddy, we definitely are liking some BTC. We might just get out of what we bought yesterday real quick. That was a great trade. All right, so Palantir right here today. We talked about buying through that 25 and, you know, just looking at other stuff there and thinking short. Palantir was a great buy through 25. I mean, you didn't even have to hold that against yourself. That just blasted up there to 25.30 with no problems at all. So a good little trade there if you had Palantir long. The market's trying to pull back a little bit, so you're going to want to be into some names that might have some relative weakness associated with it today. One of those is not, I am so proud of myself for not even losing that much on AMD, but look at this move all the way up to 183. Maybe that's the high up there, but it's, is there news on AMD? I asked in the chat, like, is there anything going on here? Because
look, NVIDIA is almost at 800.
Right,
so
and we talked about that, and we talked about fading some gaps, right? But I mean, honestly, this is coming in pretty quickly. Like within the first 3 minutes, you had a 3% move up, like just booming right up here into 798. And we talked about this, man. I feel like the only trade was to buy dips on NVIDIA, and we talked about that, doing that all week in your own personal accounts. But we never. I thought we'd get into the 750 or so, but no, man. Real nice fade opportunity up to 800 if you want to stand in front of it. AMD 183 still. Let's check out ARM. I do have an offer at 140. So that was pretty close to filling, 138.70. Hey, if these markets still go, let's just try to sit there and respect that level. 30 cents now in the money. We said let's go find something that we thought could be relatively weak. We'll pick on Apple, and that's going to be a nice one right there. A little face slapper to the downside for Apple. Let's see how much lower it can go. Looks like this one will be right about when we had the fade at 182. Everything else is super, super strong. Come on, Amazon, make the move down.
Everything is super strong. I'm jumping out. Another fresh high got made. All the best you can do is get out of the way of these things. Sorry, I'm on ARM there. The best thing you can do is get out of the way. Another fresh high. You just got above Tuesday's close. That's enough for me on Intel. I'm going to stay away from it at this point. Let it try to calm itself down. Got away from AMD. I'm still in PSNY, still in a firm that hasn't broken the highs just yet. That CEHL, by the way, CELH, I should say. Celsius. Whoa, there. It's halted with a 74 tap. For everyone looking at this name, the open price is indicating $74. It's halted at 65. So that would be obviously a heck of a lot higher than it is right now. But it's still about 3 minutes away from opening up. So that'll probably update at some point. But that would be wild. If that opens up that much further, that would be insane. Affirm actually holding underneath that 39. Wick top again. So it just wicked the high. That means I like it a little bit more, so I'm going to jump into more shares at the 80 level. And Snowflake, the other earnings name. We mentioned CRM. No dip buy in Snowflake into the pre-market lows. Snowflake breaking out the top instead. It just decides to go the other way. Adara?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on this move up in the market in general, though. As I said, with regards to AMC, there's a lot of tweeting even within the last couple seconds. So lots of excitement in general, lots of exuberance over this market today. SMCI, one of the names benefiting from this, pulling back a little bit now, but Supermicro Computer was up about 8%. So it just seems like an overall move in the market. If I do see any news, I will let you guys know.
Oh man, damn. So thank you so much for all the love there in the chat about the Apple short. But honestly, man, like I was much more confident. Not much more confident. We have them both. But we lost more on Amazon than we're going to make here on Apple. So hopefully Amazon does come back to life a little bit here and get, well, it's definitely awake, that's for sure. There's no doubt about that one. But it's starting to rip higher here, 174.25. I just want to be in this. It just cracked lower, like into 174 again. And that made me think like, oh no, if this market does turn around, are we going to be on the right name with Amazon when there's other names that continue to go lower? We've been talking about some weakness in Google. This could be a good name as well at 138. So this is a possible fade play. But look at Apple. Apple right now is going to be about $1 here in the money as it just continues to crank lower and lower for me. So that should have been obviously my biggest position, not Amazon, as Amazon looking to take out the highs right now as well. So just be careful with Amazon. It is at the highs. The market's breaking through 18,000 and holding right now above the 50 period, so on and so forth. Good little take there on Apple, that's for sure, as that just made it right back into some of these lows again. So Apple the one, Amazon not.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much everything I was looking at with the exception of Apple. And I'm going to get to one that's also relatively weak. Thank you guys in the chat for pointing out Micron. But Affirm just pulled back into the 38.5. That was a support level for the last half an hour going into the open. And then you've got 38.25 as the next level down. So I'm taking some out in front of 38.5, some out in front of 38.25. I'll reload it if we get back up into the 38.8 range. As long as it wants to hold that high, we're going to continue to short that one. But guess what? Chip name is not strong. That's what relative weakness looks like. Market-breaking highs, Micron went red and stays red, last I checked. So this is obviously a relatively weak one that we should probably be sinking our teeth into. If you like shorts, then find something weak. This is telling me that Micron is rejecting this 52-week high break that it did just a couple of days ago. So $90 looks like an obvious level. I don't like a flat bottom break at 39. Shorting the bottom when the market's at tops can be a little bit problematic.
Yeah. Okay. So the market is just really getting spicy here, guys. Just a little bit. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's Amazon that's getting real spicy. I was not expecting that move. We shorted it all yesterday, and today the short is taking our lunch as we got to give it back here again for Amazon as it continues to go. Apple's been a nice one, so we'll continue to watch out for that. And let's go somewhere else because we just got to wait now for something else to happen. Another name that we've liked for the long has been Uber. So in a day where the market seems to be long, Uber is kind of fading out here off 78.40. I feel like something's like my charts are like missing things here. I feel like this is how Uber's trading. Maybe. All right, so a fade back into the 200 period. I mean, we've held 78 a couple times. If this market wants to remain strong here today, this is a good name. I mean, here's 78 holding. I don't mind it. It's right there on the 50 period as well. Is that Bitcoin pulling? You know what we didn't look at? We didn't look at Coinbase.
It did pull back.
Okay, because Coinbase was a 212 area that we wanted, and we should have looked at that. We wrote down 212 right on our sticky note, and of course I short. I mean, whatever. I can just keep talking about Amazon all the time. But we did short Amazon, which was completely wrong, and this was a $6 winner off of our sticky note level. We wrote down 212 right there on Coinbase. So we missed that one again. That's embarrassing. Okay, hopefully it cuts back up there. We can have that name because we really like Coinbase up there. And that's too bad. That's a sticky note. We wrote it down 212. Obviously, we would have took it 211, but we didn't put the order out. So all good for now. We'll see if we can make a little bit back as we finally get Amazon pulling a little bit here. And we're taking some profits now because this is a good one. We also rang Reggie for 40 cents or so on a firm, short 80s, out 35 cents there on that one. But here we go. Let's see if we can get Amazon back in right now. So that'll be really good if that does happen, guys.
Oh, Micron doesn't even want to bounce even a little bit. I just reloaded a firm. We had the same short on and bounced at 38.5, but now we're getting back in, just reloaded it. PSNY is still going sideways. It's holding $2, but it's not really. It'll go up in the money a couple of cents and then pull back. We'll see if it can make a break. But let's go to Adara. We've got a number in seconds.
Yeah, we're waiting that Chicago PMI here for February. We had previous 46, forecast of 49. And consensus of 48 as well. So 48 and 49, consensus of forecast respectively here. We got in 44, so lower than the consensus and the forecast here of 48 and 49. Market itself, not super reacting to it. I have the SPY up here, still up about 0.45% here on that Chicago PMI, gaining a little bit. But we also do have other economic data on the horizon today. First number here, guys.
So it's starting to go a little higher on the market. Not too much.
Still pressing a little bit.
Affirm, we got a nice reload in that. We'll wait for that one to happen. But yeah, there's the reload on Affirm up there at 85. So could take a quick dime, but let's see where we go here on Affirm.
Tesla rejected 205. So that's the other key name that has hit a key stock, key price, and it's already starting to pull back in. I think this is probably a short to pop situation. I just got some out on Affirm as it continues to come to the downside there. But you mentioned Coinbase. They're not the only ones that move around. Mara has a $1.50 range off of the open.
Oh, yes. Oh,
and is
yes,
absolutely flushing.
sir.
The firm just broke the 50 level.
Let's go.
It's the only thing which is flushing that isn't Micron right now. So I'm going to get another leg out at the 38.50. But watch out for Mara. If this gets back to the $30 level, it has been selling like wildfire off of that level. Watch out for Mara there. So this is a firm. That wick's not real. It's been holding underneath the 39 level. But 38.5 has found some buyers. Going to make sure we're covering for profits underneath that 38.6 level. Micron is bouncing nicely, but it's Tesla that has my attention. If it double taps 205, that looks like a pretty good short at that level.
Okay, yeah, we just honestly, man, spin it right here for Affirm. Affirm has been another amazing stock, man. We had tagged that one. We tagged it at 40, but we'll take a 39. I mean, when it gives you those kind of looks, man, that's what we're here for. So good trade there on Affirm. Let's see if we can hold it for a little bit back to the upside there on AFRM. I mean, I don't know if there is going to be an upside. 174.50, and we can finally close the door on Amazon. If that is, the trade for us today, then unfortunately we'll have to give it up. We're not going to wind up losing today what we made yesterday, but again, not a good look on this short, man, for Amazon today. It just wants to keep going up. So, yeah, one of the stronger names here, and there it goes again right here. Was that go to Adara? No. Yes,
yeah,
what's up, Adara?
It was.
Yeah, Shift4 Payments very much on watch here. FOUR is the ticker moving to the upside. Today did announce a partnership with MetLife Stadium, which is the home of the New York Jets and Giants. But also worth noting, yesterday it was first rumored here that Shift4 Payments could be acquired by Pfizer and Amadeus, a $1 billion bidding war. So that news continues, or those rumors continue to circulate here for FOUR, guys.
So look, Tesla's actually still fading off that 205 level, and Micron might break that low, but C3AI has held to 35. It's gone back and forth this is a bit insane. Some of that's dark pool wicks, but it's going back and forth, holding the 35 even. I said it has to hold 35, otherwise I think it's a bit of a gap fill to the downside, the earnings being what they may. You guys can read into that however you want. Fundamentally, I don't necessarily think it's more than just a short squeeze. That said, if above 35 is the squeeze level for me. So I'm going to go for the long off of the 35. Understand there are bad wicks down there. If it doesn't hold it, it's an easy out for me. Hard stop, give it to the quarters, but it's a hard stop underneath that. I have a limit to how far I would carry that trade. PSNY is, it's not, I don't know what to tell you. It bounced. I got some right there at 12s and 13s. Oh, sorry, 13s even. I actually thought I got 12 half there. Nope, 13. It's held the $2 level and is just going sideways. So not much to see there with Polestar. Looked like it was going to be a more volatile name. And Tesla doesn't even want to get back to the 205. So it was a fade off 05. I think it might be a short to pop situation. 2 days in a row, this has been a fade off of 205. Looks like it might be 3.
Okay. Yeah, this market just keeps on going, man. Like up and away right now. Apple is the one that's been one of the only ones that's actually working here. What's up with Google? Yeah, I just heard. Both.
Google's really
Neil and Sharif here, yeah. Wow, okay, isn't that crazy that we were just talking about like, hey, these are probably good buy areas right now for Google. Down there at 135, and now it's at 138. So nice little move up. I mean, I have to be happy about that, obviously. We've talked about where my holdings lie, but nice move up for Google, up 1.6%. I mean, this has been a pretty wild day here in the market. I mean, I don't think we need to tell you that, but let's just see if it can settle down just a little bit here, up 0.69. I feel like there's so many of these tech names that are really, really starting to scream around here. I mean, AMD up 3, NVIDIA up 3, Google now up 2. I mean, we haven't even talked about Meta up nothing. Okay, and that's maybe why. See, so here, maybe there's a weak name. We just found it. It's Meta. Amazon, another name that we just keep losing on. That's only up 1%. Like, imagine if this actually gets going. So let's go over to Adara and see what she's up to over there.
SunPower really strong right now around 9 a.m. This one announcing a delay in filing its Form 10K, which is basically a form for the SEC, very detailed report of the company's financials. This one also does have a short float about 20.8%, so definitely something to keep in mind with regards to this massive move to the upside and strong volume for SPWR, guys.
So you know, there's a bit of a move happening in AMC. It's only at 475, but as it gets closer to the $5 level, it'll be on my radar. I got it up so I can maintain the watch on it. Some higher lows being put on PSNY. Once it gets into the 220s and it takes them out, then look to dip buy off of VWAP and see if we can't ride the train back to the upside there. NVIDIA, oh, I got that wick. 790 on NVIDIA. So remember the consolidation, flag break? I don't know, there's your pennant, there's your break. It doesn't get to 800. Now it's trying to bounce off 790. Suddenly, NVIDIA doesn't look nearly as strong. The market hasn't pulled back that much, and NVIDIA is already starting to stair step to the downside. But I said it before, I want to short a weak name. And I'm on the offer in front of VWAP on Micron because it's down almost 1%. It doesn't even seem like it wants to give you the pop to short. So this is the one I want to get into. I don't care why it's down relative to the market. I just know that it is. And if we give it up, if the market gives it up, then this should easily break underneath this 89 level. Failed a breakout on the daily, now back under 90. I mean, that's a short as long as this thing's under 90. Why short these strong stocks if you can't, instead of finding something weak like Micron here?
I'm waiting for this like market to actually start to turn around a bit, and I'm not sure it's going to. I mean, looking at a broader here look of the NASDAQ, I mean, we've taken out levels now, and we're above. So there's that remember, we talked about this yesterday. If we ever got into this 18050 area, that would sort of be the spot where, you know, we need to see a pullback. So we do scale up, but, you know, we're not like, that's nice. This is a 30-minute chart, so it's not really telling the whole story of what's exactly happening right now, but we do have a high there at 72. If you're gonna play off of a short in the Qs or anything like that, 18,072 right now would be your spot. So that's gonna be something, but the market's really starting to get ramped up here again. And look what just happened. We just had AMD, and again, like if anything today, it's being obviously a little stubborn on Amazon, but Amazon's okay because we've done well on that. We haven't done well chasing AMD when we've been wrong because it'll just, like I just mentioned, it'll rip faces off over and over and over again. So AMD there right here again, we were short 181. You know, like when it took 180, I was talking about this earlier. We were like, oh man, 180 could be a good level for it. you know, and then when it went to 181, we're like, okay, we'll short it. And then we got out like on a 181 break, saving us the pain, and it's pain all the way to the upside right now on that one. I know Neil's on Intel and Micron, but AMD up 4% now, almost with
Well, I'm
like,
down on both Intel and AMD.
no, I just mean like been on it.
They
Sorry,
both suck to the short side.
all
today.
these chip names. You know what, Neil? If we didn't go long, honestly, then I don't know.
No.
Apple's been a great short.
Like Apple's kind of weak.
Other than that,
Micron's
for me.
very weak. I just got into that one because why not go into short names that are weak? And the key thing about a firm, I understand a firm is up 3.5%, but the key thing about a firm is right at the open when the market broke the highs, a firm failed a break of 39. Like the first thing it did was fail a 39 break for like scalp shorts underneath. So that gives you kind of a wall before it gets to 39.5 to work
There
into.
goes Amazon.
Micron's starting to go back to the upside. Meta is not weak anymore. Here, let's see.
Probably not.
Is it breaking 490?
What else is new?
Yeah, I want Meta breaking this level. It is, when I see overhead resistance like this, it's hard to want to just jump out. I want this thing breaking the 490. Like, show me that it can chew through that. Like, show me that it can get higher. It's the same thing with Tesla 205. Like, Tesla rejecting 205. Like, why am I not short Tesla at 205?
Yeah.
Probably because, I know why, because all the other shorts didn't work. Do not necessarily get married, sort of get married to, oh, well, one short didn't work. Something else that should set up, I'm not going to take because the last short didn't work. Like, that's nonsense. 205 was perfectly good on Tesla. Anyways, you got to deal with what you have. Just got another reload in a firm as it bounces off of. So each time we're getting in a little bit higher on a firm. First, it was filling you in the 70s and then turning, then the 80s. Now I just got to fill up there close to the 90 level, and now it's pulling into the 70. So it's been working, but it's going a little bit higher each time. Micron, I'm working into the short here because it's still down. It's still underneath VWAP. That's been a relatively weak name. I'd like to see something start to break out, and then I'd believe in this move more. Remember that the NASDAQ, breathe, the NASDAQ is still pressing into massive resistance here. That's the bigger picture for me. So I'm willing to take the shots. Make sure you have an out on shorts if you're doing it because the market is strong. But hey, we're into a resistance level on the futures.
Oh, man. Yeah. All right. So it's funny because, yeah, like we're just both sitting here on a firm. That's been like the only short. Apple's now short, but for how long? I mean, we covered most of it down here right now, trying to watch out for that one. Oh, Coinbase. Okay. 63 again for BTC. So let's go have a quick look at Coin. What's Coin doing? Oh, man, that's frustrating for sure. This should have been the trade, really, was Coinbase up there at 212. But again, crypto's been holding out, right? So it's kind of strange. Like crypto's doing fine, and Coinbase is down, not down, it's still up nicely, but it's faded out pretty much all morning. Here is the Binance chart. So we'll have to just quick look to see what BTC is doing itself right now. Once it loads, here it is right here. All right, it's because I'm zoomed in on the other one. That's why it looks like the CRM starting to look like that. Okay, so there's the high that we just put in. This is a 1 minute chart. So we were actually, so my bad, when Coinbase was up there, it does look like this was about 940. So we did have crypto back to 63.5. So this is good. So this is why we're looking at this. We wanted to see if and when crypto was going to go, what levels were we looking at? So 63.5 right there on BTC. If we're going to, there it goes. Amazon just broke 175. If BTC holds 63.5, so that's going to be a level there for Coinbase. So we'll continue to watch it. So down here we know 62.9, so 63 right now. We'll see if it goes 500 more points, dollars upside there for Coinbase is when we'll start to relook at that trade. Up at 2. Let's put an offer at 210 in case we get there, and that way we can at least get filled and understand what's happening.
Yeah, that's sort of the thing. Like, this is a time to be a little bit patient. We talked about the futures being at that resistance. I want to point out CRM is back above the 300 level. So the opening, we're a half an hour into the market. The opening range or the opening salvo, the opening rush, all that stuff is starting to come to an end. And if you can hold 300, this is where I think CRM can be along. I just wanted things to calm down on this stock. As said, I'm in a firm. I've reloaded like 3 times. Do we take it a 4th? I don't know about shorting the same level 4 times, but it is still setting up. And Micron is the new one that we're into the short side as well. But I do like CRM if it can hold that 300, maybe just press down off VWAP. Here is Micron just to give you guys a look. Shout out to everyone in the chat. One of the biggest pluses to this show, we're keeping it real. Like today, it's frustrating for shorting, and you're going to be down if you've been shorting this market, and you can just try to make some of it back. But B, the community is great, because while I was saying I need to find relative strength and weakness, everyone in the chat's yelling about Micron being down when every single other chip name I'm looking at is up. So thank you guys for pointing that out. I actually ended up missing this. Win or lose, it was still a good observation to find something that was bucking the overall trend of the market. I don't think this trade is over in Coinbase. It's starting to pop back up. I actually put in my note that I like shorts in Coinbase too, but I like the 210 level, so I easily missed it as well. But VWAP sits here at 207. I mean, if it's going to put in a lower high and the market is strong, then that's relative weakness as well, and we're back underneath 63,000 on BTC to boot. Not that I think Coinbase has to follow Bitcoin. I think it follows it up in some ways, but if Coinbase wants to go down, it doesn't matter what Bitcoin is doing. When Coinbase goes down, it's going down on its own reasons plenty of times.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Phrasing.
Yeah. Okay, so 190, 182. Trying to watch out for Apple right here. Okay, we have numbers at 10. Let's go over to Adair and find out.
Lots of numbers today. The most recent ones on watch here coming up are going to be pending home sales month over month and year over year. So month over month, we're expecting consensus of 1%, forecast of negative 0.25%. 2% forecast going to be here for pending home sales year over year. We just got the month over month number coming in negative 4.9%, so much lower than the forecast of negative 2.5. We still don't have the pending home sales year over year yet coming in, but we did have that forecast of 2%, so a little bit of a different number. We're expecting the previous here as well was 1.3%. Let's just hear the markets react to that month over month number. Not too much, very much stuck in a bit of a range, bit of a compression pattern here for the SPY so far today after that massive pop-up earlier this morning right into the open. Lots of earnings as well, definitely on the horizon as today and running the market, including WW International. WW is the ticker for this one. Oprah Winfrey deciding not to stand for re-election at the upcoming meeting of shareholders. This in addition to a sales miss for WW. We also had OKTA, this one reporting an earnings beat across the board and up about 25%. So lots of names to keep an eye on here, guys.
Okta. Yeah, it feels like we're in the octagon fighting for our lives when you're shorting things right now. The good news is, at least the two things have been out, Firm and Micron are not necessarily blowing it out of the water. And I really didn't want to be taking top breaks today. But Meta and this, it broke 490 and got to 17s, so a break of the high would be like the quarters right now. Okay.
Oh my God.
It's hard not to take a shot at this one if it goes, but hard stop if it fails it underneath. I'm just going to set this one up. It has to break the fresh high. So the high is 17, so breaking 490 is not good enough. It's got to break 490, 17. We'll take a shot at it, but I didn't want to take top breaks, but it's after 10 o'clock now.
Dude, I don't think anything's breaking really anymore, except for high breaks, like you were mentioning there. This has been tough, man. This has been really tough to sit there and trade this these names to the short side. That was an interesting number that just came out there. The futures made a little bit of a move up. And now is pushing downside a little bit here. So, yeah, get down here just a little bit. So Amazon, we are short on Amazon. Again, I mean, hey, what's up? You know, I'm always short Amazon, it seems like. But we did take a position here, and I don't really like it. It's in AMD. Well, I like it now because it's going down. But here we go. We'll have to take some profits here at, wow, like I just like put a bid at 10 and the thing shot up like 30, 40 cents there. This is insane. The liquidity right now is really strange to me. Like because I feel like this is a very much an outsized move in some of these names, I wonder if there's just a lot of hesitancy to cover trades, to put out bids and offers right now. And I don't know if I'm just
the spreads on some of these stocks look like 9:30 spreads. Meta's spread looks like it's 9:30 in the morning.
I think it's a liquidity thing.
So it could be liquidity. It's not a Friday or anything like that, but
like AMD just drops 30 cents and then rips right back up 30 cents in 5 seconds.
Well,
Like it's doing it right now.
Yeah, like once it starts coming down, it's like the bid is falling away. But if you try to close the spread,
Yeah,
like buyers, like you're not getting the fill. The
stopped out
buyers
here
are
when we
jumping
had a
in.
winner. That's
So I was trying to get a bid there on Micron just now, and the second I bid 21s in front of the 20 level, it just instantly like pops 10 cents on you. So we're still getting that in the market. I went against my better judgment and shorted the same level on a firm a fourth time. So this is now wedging to the upside. I think it might break it out. Fortunately, it was a good short going into it. Here comes Meta again for that high break. It's crazy. I did not think that's the way the market was going to go today, but it doesn't matter what you think. It's what's happening that matters. So I've actually adjusted. I'm using a J stop order. If we make a fresh high in Meta, then you will see me punch long in this one for the first non-PSNY long. And Polestar, by the way, Sharif, wherever you are, is literally doing nothing. Absolutely nothing, Polestar. It's just going sideways. Like, it's not going up. It's not really going down. It's just been a complete, I don't want to call it a waste of time because it's only 10 o'clock, but I'd say it's been a bit of a disappointment in Polestar. I've just been sitting in it all morning, as you guys can see.
Yeah, you definitely want to trade names that are moving around.
Well, it was moving in the pre-market.
You don't. I mean, it's fine. I mean, you don't.
I'm out of. By the way,
losing that much.
High of the day broke on a firm, so I'm out of that one. You know, we're not going to hold through that high of the day break.
Yeah, we just got literally the same thing there on a firm that short. We're always. I mean, I'm going to short a firm anyways. But there it is. So a huge move up. Again, it's like just watching out for these futures. Like, where are we going to go here on these plays, right? So I don't know. All right, so we're into Amazon, and this one's not looking good again. This will be by far the biggest loser here for me today. Will be Amazon. I mean, you can see we just keep on shorting it. We should have got out of the way earlier. But again, being stubborn with it for sure from yesterday. You can see here goes Amazon taking out this 25 level is not good. So there it goes, Amazon upside. Shorting today has just been absolutely horrible. There's been nothing else to talk about. I think that Tesla, though, this is probably, again, like some of the names that we're on, it's just, it is a story of what names you're trading. Because, again, look at Tesla.
Tesla's been fine for
I know,
sure.
we mentioned that 205, man. We had this yesterday, too. That's why the level's there. So it's like, it's just, retail today seems to be real super hot, and that's probably that PCE number, again, creating some upside on some of this. Let me just check in on Chinese retail a little bit with Alibaba, see if we get some love back in on this.
NIO's moving.
Right now. Yeah, we saw that NIO had, so Baba's doing nothing. NIO had that big buy imbalance earlier as well, but okay, so that's still off $5. That's a key level there for sure that we had talked about numerous times, down 5.50 up to 5.75. So a couple nice little levels there. We'll figure out what else is going on though. But right now that's NIO. We'll check back. I know you're on Polestar. Let's check back on Fisker, 75. So that has been moving around for a little bit again. But that's Polestar and Fisker.
So Meta, this is so.
If Amazon will finally pull down. There has to be better shorts.
What's crazy is if you were willing to buy dips today.
Has to be.
My name is Neil, and I wasn't buying any dips today. It's true. And if you bought dips on Meta, I'm just going to do this for everybody else's benefit. But look at yesterday's levels in Meta, and then look where it ends up holding. So it pivoted at 486 in the afternoon. It turned into resistance. That's your bottom support. Then it broke out yesterday's high and then dipped back out in front of it, and I'm taking a high of the day break at 90s when you could have had this easily dipping into 89, right? Like dip buys are better than breakouts. Just from obviously you make more money because you get a better price, but they tend to be a little bit safer. We're now through yesterday's top. My next out is going to be in front of 92s. On Meta, I think we can get to 95. That's just the way I like to look at it. The futures are still at resistance, man. Makes it hard. These NASDAQ still at resistance. So Meta is working on that breakout trade. Micron, thank you for being weak, Micron. I don't know why Micron is weak relative to the other chips. I just know that you guys pointed it out to me and were right about it. So Micron heading right back into its lows. What a dog that's been. I can't really figure out what the story is, why Micron would be so weak. But for whatever reason, this short has been working the whole way.
Well, I think it's the same reason that it's like people want to buy like AMD, and they want to buy. They're just switching out. AMD is at 185 right now.
That's the top.
We actually,
This is top. This is the 52-week high.
is it? Well,
yes, it is.
yeah, I mean, looking on the chart, I was just wondering what that little wick
Oh,
is
I'm
there.
gonna short this.
So AMD, 180, yeah, 184.92. Right here on eSignal, 184.92 top. And this is what I mean. So I feel like it is that. It's
the worst that could happen?
It's a story of multiple situations where you have a name like what Neil was just talking about there, Micron, heading to the downside. And by the way, spin it finally. Jeez, ARM. All right, so ARM, we just take 50 cents right there. We're only out of a third of it. Okay, let's go down now, ARM, please, and thank you. Let's go to the downside now for ARM. That would be nice. AMD, did you take it? Because I think that's probably not a bad idea.
I actually didn't get to it fast enough. Like it was at the 80, like it was at 88 or something. But it's coming right back up here, anyways. But yeah, I'm obviously down on AMD. I was short this in the pre-market. I got away from it at 842, and there's okay, bye-bye.
Wow. I shorted 60s there, and I only shorted
That didn't take very long.
Thank God that was that fast, because
orders.
I was going to average in.
Wow.
There, and I was like, it just blew up. I couldn't even put in an average in before this went.
No, I got in and stopped within the same. Like it was probably the same orders that were filling.
I literally think I got filled in 5 seconds there. Why is this happening, Adara? I just asked her kind of rhetorically, like,
Here,
I mean,
let's just hit that key.
You know what? We're just really, really stupid because you should just take that break long. Like, why would you even
52-week high break?
52-week high break.
And by the way, Nvidia lower high.
It's like that was
$795, still under $800. It is what it is. I did take that second out on Meta. It's still stair-stepping up, but I mean, really, the bigger long is clearly AMD. That is absolute insanity. You know, you're mentioning ARM that is going. Oh yeah, I want to get back to Tesla if we could. Just want to pivot back to relative strength, relative weakness. Tesla can't even crack VWAP right now. Can't even crack VWAP. This is a short. That's what a short looks like. So I reminded myself with Micron, and now I'm reminding myself with Tesla that Tesla looks like a short to me. Next available pop. If the market turns, this one's going to go. And by the way, now AMD looks. Now it looks like it could be failing.
Oh shoot! I was waiting for that wick, and I went over to Amazon. So we did get a very, very high break there of 185, the highest candle volume of the day, rate upside. But that's okay because you know what? We're finally making a little bit back here on Amazon. Miss Adara. Miss A.
Really good look on Revenant Therapeutics, RVNC. These ones reported after market close yesterday. Earnings and sales beat here, so really good look across the board here. Strong volume throughout the day. Worth noting, though, they do have a short float of about 14%, so keep an eye on that if you're going to be involved in RVNC, guys.
We should take advantage. Thank you for that, Adara.
Thanks, Adara.
We should take advantage of this move down as finally we'll make back. Look, we're making back like 30% or so of what we lost on Amazon. So it's not like this is a woohoo moment, but it is a woohoo moment because finally we get some movement to the downside. And here we go. Let's go. Let's crack lower. And by the way, how does $1.50 sound on ARM right now to the downside? So that's sounding pretty good to me. Amazon is making these moves back in, man. So look at all these shorts. Absolutely ridiculous. But we don't have too many blowouts. It was really that first trade right here when we took out 174. That was the problem. Catching the top here has been a pretty good trade for Amazon, but I mean, it's just 175. Like we wrote down here 173, 174. So we got blown out when it went up to that high side, but at some point, it's going to have to come back in a little bit, and we'll take it. I'm taking another piece out here at 48. That's it. Now we can see if we can hold. So we just reloaded it. Like, look at this. So you see what I'm saying? Like this is Amazon, we're going to be red on it. We'll talk about it hopefully after we're out of this trade. But for right now, like it's these reloads. There is no blowing out top here. So it's just a matter of how far do we hold this all the way back in. And look at ARM. Again, we wrote down ARM 140 that we really, really like that trade. And there it is right there. So there's 140 short, 139.50, you know. So we take that. That goes down into 137.70. That actually gave us almost $2 right there, right now. All right, Amazon is now $1. This is going. I feel like we've just made it back to VWAP. Let's put a bid down here into like 137.
18,000.
That just came in? Okay, so we'll have to watch out for that. Coinbase holding up, I assume, because of what Bitcoin's doing there. Wow, no, Coinbase getting cracked. Damn you, Coinbase. Another missed opportunity, but it is what it is. There we go, so.
I just got, you gotta be kidding me. I just covered AMD in front of 183.5 on the, I got back into the short. We lost like instantly on the 185 short. I mean like instantly, it was just right through. I shorted on the way back in. I'm already out of it. I'm gonna hold on to Micron. I was just asked, what would you do with PSNY? If I wasn't in PSNY, I wouldn't be trading it, but it hasn't broken my stop, so there's nothing for me to do. I wouldn't be looking at it until other things calm down. It's just, it has not stopped out, so I don't have a reason to get away from it. So AMD starting to pull back. Come to my chart for a second. Thank you very much. Oh, nope. Maybe. There we go. Maybe there we go. But if it bounces off of VWAP, this is still very much a strong stock. But that is a 52-week high that it rejected. If we bounce up there again, I take another shot short at it. All that said, I feel as if the weak name stays weak, and I want to short the next pop on Micron. I know that is a weak name, so I want to be able to stick with that one. Intel's back at the key price of 42.6, but it could bounce off that level. And we're now underneath the 18,000. Underneath 18,000, I'm looking for shorts, but we've been looking for shorts all morning. Just a matter of getting the ones when they come in for you.
Wow. Well, that was rough, man. We sat here and talked all about, how hard that was there. So let's take a little bit of a breath here, take a sigh of relief, because that move down saved, I don't know, probably a lot of accounts, saved mine for sure. And we're going to have to take advantage of it. So we just got out some more there on Amazon. So we are now only in a quarter, about 20%, unfortunately, of what we had. I hadn't seen profit in forever on Amazon there. So once we started shorting up there, we're like, let's just take it, because it just keeps on railroading over and over again. It looks like AMD may have found support there near VWAP at 183 and see this bounce back. Like, that's pretty aggressive. It was just at 183.20, bounces back up $1 right there. We are still $1.70 here on ARM in the money, so that's a good one. We could take it here if I mean, it's printing 90s. So, I mean, we could take a 90 fill if we wanted it. The spread is quite nice here on ARM. We'll wait for that. But look at this pushback on AMD right now, as that just went up to almost 185 again.
That's still kind of strong.
This stock is absolutely insane. So, yeah. Affirm, does that bounce back in? Probably a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit, eh? How about that? We get stopped out at the high, and then Affirm goes right down to the low again.
Oh, tell me about it.
Hasn't even been here today. All right, let's go, man. ARM's $1.50 now. Apple's 6.65 cents. We just got a great fill down there on Apple at 30. So, yeah, breathe a sigh of relief. I'm going to go reload the coffee. I assume you're fine.
I'm good because I got the heater on.
Right.
Shout out to Obi. So I have a little bit left. And Obi's such a nice guy, man. He got us all little individual, like, I guess you put coffee or tea, like mug heaters in there. But guess what just bounced off a double bottom? So this could be an opportunity here. Tesla bouncing off yesterday's double bottom. This has been weak all day. I think back into VWAP would make some sense. I will show you guys what I mean about PSNY. So as I said, if I was not in this, I would not be getting into the long here. That's just me. But I'm already in it, and I have my stop underneath $2 for a breakout potential. Going to take one out in front of the high of the day, and if it started squeezing, then I'd start getting out more. But it's not doing anything, and it's stair-stepping down. So if it breaks a stop, I just get out of the trade. So I wouldn't have gotten into it. That's what I was sort of getting at there, because it's not doing anything and not behaving the way that I want to. But some of these other names are absolutely flying around. Tesla's bouncing. If it gets into VWAP, I probably look short there. Micron for sure, I want to short pops into VWAP. That's been relatively weak the entire day. AMD, I was able to get a positive short and go 1 for 3 on the stock because it failed a 52-week high, but look how quickly it's already coming back up. Very, very strong name, relatively speaking, on AMD. I think this is one I want to be thinking. If it gets back above the 52-week high and breaks out 86s, it's probably just rip your face off long at this point. Meta, it was a good long break at the 490, but then got out when it came under break even. Could be the stairs to the downside. If 18,000 holds, Meta is back to a long for me, but I got to be patient. It's after 10 o'clock. You want to calm things down a bit. So my first look is short pops on Micron because that's been working the entire way. Tesla, I feel like if that gets back into that 203 level, 202.5, 203, that can be a short. And Coinbase flew under $200 and is red. BTC is trying to get back to 60, 63. I've been watching this the entire time. If it puts in a lower high here on BTC, coin, it's a bit of a chase because we're not shorting 210 here, but it would be a short off of the opening range bottom. Like 203 is where it was holding at 10 o'clock. So if it gets back into 203, I think that is a reasonable fade on coin. So stick to the names that I wanted short, with the exception of AMD. Got away with one there, shorting it at that top. I think it's too strong of a stock. There's other places that you can go into some fades there. So I do like this on Coinbase. Shout out, let me know if you guys are trading anything else there. I know PanW, Pro Day Trader just said PanW short of the day. I actually don't want to hear those words. I love PanW. 320. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. 320, lower high, 50 period moving average. Good look for you there on PanW. But that's a trade that's already come and gone. I think if you're looking at the earnings names from today, CRM has yet to hold that 300 level to my liking, so I'm not involved in a long here on CRM. Still looking a little bit too weak for me. Got to be patient with your setup. If something sets up, you win or lose, who cares? It's a cost of doing business. You can get frustrated with it, but at least you took a valid setup. If I short coin down here at 200, that's not a good setup for me. If I wait for it to get into the 203 zone and then try the curl, that is a good setup. And as we're regaining some strength in the market here, it's got to be Micron. Micron, I think that's going to come in here first. I like 89.25, then I'll add some going into 89.50. This has worked the entire way, so I want to make sure I stick to that. It's been a frustrating morning for the shorts because early I was looking for that reversal trade on PCE that just never, ever happened. And at that point, you get anchored to going into some of those shorts. But it is what it is. Move on to the next. Short pops in the weak names only for me.
Pops into the weak names. Yeah, exactly. I feel like that is the right thing to do. Beyond Meat, we had quite a nice move yesterday. It was up 60%. And then it faded out, all afternoon. So, and then we looked at it in the recap show. Still watching Amazon. I still think we can get a lot lower, but we'll wait. I don't know. Anyways, this has been a nice move to the high side. Remember, we do have to pay for shorts. Yesterday, it's not going to be SSR, but it had a huge move into the close. Oh, that's today. Hold on a second. There it is, just like boom, and then here's into the close. Like once it was just riding this 200 period up there at about where we are now, 1070, and ending the day at 920-ish. Like that's a pretty good move in the last 2 hours. Like 30, I was gonna say 30%, but I guess not. Almost $11 down to $9. So like 20% to the downside there in the last little while for Beyond Meat yesterday. So we're right back at those levels again, thinking about it. So that could be a trade there, up 6% Beyond Meat here today. So, all right, let's go over to the big screen and hear from Adara.
IWM pretty strong on the day here, up over 1% here for the Russell 2000, and lots of small cap runners to talk about. Luis Barbado brought this one up earlier on the show, SIDU, Sea-Doo Space. Not any news on this one from today, but on Tuesday, it announced that its LizzieSat satellite is ready for launch no earlier than March 2024. So very much coming up here, new launch information for SIDU and a float of about 2.69 million shares. Revenance Therapeutics, this one, earnings beat across the board. RVNC, also worth noting, they do have a short float of about 14%. And last but not least, two-day runner here, ADIL Pharmaceuticals, ADIL. This one yesterday announcing that they secured a U.S. patent for alcohol use disorder-related product. This one has a float of about 1.5 million shares. 10% of that is short float, so worth noting there for ADIL.
Our good friend Sidhu back in play there. So I'm in the Coinbase, said I wait for it to get to 203 to start working into it. And BTC is holding a high for now, but that top, the lower high is 63.5 on BTC. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one as we're shorting Coinbase. They had the outages and all that stuff yesterday, but that's yesterday's story. By the way, what's hilarious is I didn't realize that everybody had that outage. I checked my Coinbase and saw the zero balance. And then I saw online that everyone was like posting, hey, they're like zero balance, zero balance. I went back in, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna screen grab this and like tweet it out or something. But by the time I had checked it again, it was already, for me, it was already fixed.
Right.
Like I saw it for a split second and then it was it was instantly fixed. I can only speak for myself, so I couldn't even report it. It was almost no point. So I didn't really think it was that big of a deal.
I don't know if you would have been able to report it. Like so many people were probably flooding.
Yeah, like it had the warning out there, but I was able to, like, everything was fine for me pretty much right away. But okay, so I just got Coinbase short in the pop there. I'm going to get the VWAP reload on Micron. That's still relatively weak, and AMD.
It's really popping.
Another 52-week high. Okay, never mind. The 52-week high now would be 106.07. So until it breaks 106.07, thank goodness we got out of that for a scalp trade short, because this thing is absurd. Completely absurd. It's a rocket ship to the upside. I think you just got to maybe buy
I
some
just
dips.
shorted it. Yeah, no, you're right. I just shorted 186. So we're in the money now 70 cents. But yeah, like these are, I'm trading it with like a third of the shares that maybe we would be trading with it, not even, maybe even less than as per normal, because here it goes right back to the upside again. So I'm just getting out. So we just took enough profit there that if this breaks 186, we'll be flat on this last round. Like, wow. Like I just covered some of this. We're short at 80, and if I just keep talking, it's gonna break. But we just covered some at 30 right there for 50 cents. So, and then it just does this. So this is there.
Holy crap.
So
NVIDIA's not even moving. Literally not even moving, NVIDIA. This is all, remember, this feels like when NVIDIA reported earnings and AMD.
This feels like a short.
AMD just basically just started catching it of a rocket ship, and NVIDIA was doing nothing on its own earnings. If I'm gonna go for a dip buy in here, like you can see the higher lows, you're not even getting VWAP, so like 83.5, 84, something.
This is the
there.
best.
Makes a little bit of sense. But I'm gonna stick with coin here. That's at least cresting underneath VWAP. I just got a reload on Micron as well, by the way. So those are the two that
wow.
Let's see what happens.
Like, Neil, as you're talking there, we just made another 70 cents right here on AMD. Like, this is just how stupid this is going. And I'm saying like we're making money, but then we're getting stopped out. So like we're making, like my net on this name is not changing despite having shorts that go well in the money. Like, it's so stupid because then it just ramps right back up. So if you want to trade this name, you have to do basically like this. You get the shorts, you get out when it does this, and then look, we've just made it all the way back up again almost. Like, we just got a fill at 53s. We're short on the flip side 04s. And then here it is right now. You can get the trade one more time. Like, this is absolutely like, there has to be some crazy call buying or something happening. Like the last time
the volume is insane.
The last time I saw anything like this, honestly, was like the meme crazy days when it's just like stock would like rip up $1, then tank 50 cents, then just whoops up like there again. Right back, like, so we just get flat on that name. The only thing, we're just more having fun at the carnival right now because this is...
that's a very good... I guess, representation for what it looks like right now.
It's just like like I was saying, man, the last time, like I feel like there has to be, this is a bull trap setup, obviously. We've talked about that, Jay Lee. I do feel that strongly, that people are gonna get burned. It's like I said before, imagine hitting that key like, oh, my first long position is a long in AMD at 186.50. Like, I don't, see, like right here it is again. So we are short again right now on AMD, and it just went 30 cents. Let's get it again. Here we go. We're in the money, another 30 cents on AMD. Boom. We'll take that 77 fill and see where it goes. But here we go again. Another short on AMD, and where's the top so we can get blown out again on this. So we'll take some profits down there, and the top is 50. Let's just hold this one to 50. Okay, we'll just really, like I said, man, let's open up these floodgates here and have some fun. 186.50 right there. And if you're having fun, I'm not really. It's just fun to watch this. So 186.51. And it's not, we're playing with real shares and real money. So I'm not trying to pass light in risk here. But it's just, when it's moving like this, I feel like you're just playing the game. You're waiting for these buys to get sort of zonked a little bit there, and once they get tired, then we'll be able to see if this does fade out. But see what I mean? We just took a 77 fill, and then it rips right back to flat for us. So just be very, very careful, man. This is giving you 40-cent winners and losers. Like, literally, it's candy, so be careful.
Yeah, no, you be careful with pretty much everything. Everything that I'm seeing is doing in the chip space anyways, a little bit more volatility than you would see at a 10:30 on most days. So I'm in 2 shorts. Someone asked about Tesla. I said 203 Tesla, not 202. Intel's right back at its high, so it's wicking the top there. 43 has been holding, and this looks a little bit more top-ish. Remember, you're making lower highs on these futures. We said we're getting into resistance here, and we pulled back without making a fresh high in the NASDAQ, but that 18,000, that tricky 18,000 level has managed to hold. That's what's kind of tripping me up here, because we're bouncing off 18,000. So got to be a bit patient with some of these ideas for sure. It's why am I trying to force Intel even. Meta, lower high on Meta. I don't like that. Like, it's not even pressing. It's basically just following the futures. That 490 is come and gone. Like, that's the only long I had outside of PSNY, which eventually broke $2, was Meta, and that's not looking nearly as strong as it was before. As far as Tesla goes, just needs to press a little bit further. I was looking for something a little tighter to the 203 level. Coinbase gave me what I was looking for at the 203. Oddly enough, that's exactly the same price. Tesla and Coin, I'm looking at the short at around the same level, but you know, Tesla isn't at that level. Coinbase is. That's why we're in it. I'm keeping my eyes on AMD because if it pulls back, I think it should see VWAP in here. But such a rocket ship. Look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA stair-step down. I should be shorting NVIDIA. NVIDIA is lower highs into the same support level at 790. I don't know why I'm looking at AMD so much. I know why I'm looking at AMD. Because AMD was the first trade I took this morning. That's why I'm keep going back to AMD. NVIDIA is putting in lower highs. This looks like a better shorting opportunity. We'll see what happens. I could be dead wrong about that. It is NVIDIA after all.
Yeah, hard to disagree with you know, which name to take here, because we're in AMD and it's 55 cents now in the money and starting to go lower here. So hopefully Neil's right about this little. Well, hopefully we're both
Market
right.
hopefully goes down.
Right, exactly.
I'm not in any longs, man.
No. I mean, same. That's what I'm trying to theory. Like, hopefully, at least some of us. Look at that. I just put a bid at 40, thinking like, oh, we'll take 70 cents, and then just rips back up another 40 cents in my face. So, yeah, like if we were long on all of these dips, then we'd be celebrating as it just continues to rip up.
What about Google?
Well, we just sit here. It's like this is part of day trading, right? It's like you have to figure out where the risk and reward is. And today, at these tops right now, I've already said I feel a little foolish. There, give me that 40. Oh no, you see, bounces off 43 there and then goes back into the 70s. So this is a problem. Is numbers? Yep. Okay. Over to Adara.
We do have crypto, but we also have this natural gas stock change. So this coming in a bit lower than expected, negative 96 billion CF versus the consensus of negative 88. So are a little bit lower here, and is also lower than the previous of negative 60. Crypto itself, though, lots to talk about here. Marathon Digital, MARA, moving to the downside, down about 14%, despite the strength in Bitcoin after its earnings report. So actually, not a bad report. They did have a revenue beat, and 452% year-over-year increase in their revenue, but they did actually have a loss compared to the expected profits in terms of earnings per share. Did see an increase in Bitcoin production, though, so a bit of a mixed picture here for MARA with the market reacting to the downside. Bitcoin had a huge day yesterday, moving up into that 64,000 level before pulling back. There was also some issues with Coinbase, saying that accounts were showing zero. Neil just mentioned that one as well. So as you can see, with that massive volume on the day for Bitcoin, a little bit more subdued today, but still moved to the upside. Right now, above that 63,000 level. And Ethereum also very strong, almost at 3,500 right now, 34.8. Solana up 17%, Ripple up 3%. Dogecoin up 32% and Cardano up 8.9%. So really good look for a lot of these cryptocurrencies. And we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders with code TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout.
Adara, you are a friend of mine. Cardano up 9% right now. Wow. Hopefully it's aight. Hopefully it's altcoin run-up time, because we are into Solana. As far as coins are concerned, I own more Solana and Cardano than Bitcoin because I've flipped it over. Well, no, just as far as coins. I got you. ETFs. Yeah, gotcha. That. But anyways, nice run up here. Solana's just up 20% in 24 hours. Like, I mean, this is just for everybody that like missed 2020 and 2021 and all that kind of crazy stuff that was happening then, just look down and look around now. You'll see a lot of things that are at least reminding me of some of the stuff that had happened back then for sure. We got that 186.50, or sorry, 185.50. Yeah, my stop is 186.50, so that might be coming in soon as well right there. Let's spin it right now. For the biggest P&L trade today so far for me is going to be, why did I just hit Kathy Wood? I don't know if she has anything to do with ARM or SoftBank. She probably does. But we'll take another piece out right here if we can get a 30 level. We were waiting. Let's go back to 139. We just got out 34s there, or 38, sorry. Let's go over to 139 and see if we can get that fill now as well. So there it is, man. We shorted ARM at 140. We've talked about doing that. The only trade that we got blown out, not blown out of, but a trade that we probably shouldn't have got out, that's been the top, is Affirm. It broke 39, and that was the end of that one. Look at AMD. AMD is all the way back up. So we just took 55 cents there about 5 minutes ago, and now it's ripping through the highs again. So we're this time we're out of 70% of it. So we done good there, but we'll be back into this at some point, I'm sure, against that 186.50. But let's see if it can settle down just a bit. Is that because NVIDIA broke 8 finally?
No, NVIDIA is right at VWAP. It's been putting in lower highs.
Look,
I'm short this one at VWAP. It is the AMD story. Look at them side by side. I mean, look, they're both trend up, but since AMD pulled back off the highs and made fresh highs, NVIDIA's put a couple of lower highs in there. So I'm in that one. I'm in that Coinbase. We're still underneath VWAP on Micron, but Tesla was the other name that I liked. Tesla can't even get to 03. 02s are pretty weak on Tesla, as a matter of fact. So maybe that's a short down there. Apple, if the market does pull back, Apple in that 180. Trust me, if we fail 18,000, we're going to get that Apple 180 trade, because every time the market gets weak enough, you get to that 180 level at some point on Apple. So I'm in NVIDIA. That's now the third trade that we're in. There weren't any small caps that are really sort of piquing my interest, but I will say this. CRM finally held that $300 level.
Oh,
but
that was one.
There's the consolidation off of the last $300 hold, like that move there. So you could have had 01s. As I'm looking at things to short, CRM is finally starting to go. Maybe it takes out the high. I'd rather buy some dips in here on the way up. I think it can take out that top on CRM. Just remember, the earnings wick was like 308, and before that, the highs were essentially here, 304. So 304 is the real level. Those earnings wicks, it's on different volume, and the open market matters more to me. So this high of the day today is the big one to watch. So here comes NVIDIA, probably at the high, again at the highs AMD, Intel's at the highs. The chips are at the highs with the exception of Micron at this point.
These tasty chips have been a little sour today if you've been going short. We are short right here on AMD, and we're ringing registers again on this, man, like over and over again. If we could just keep doing this, we'll do it. We shorted here 30s, but we won't be up on it. Like, well, I mean, this is if it breaks higher, obviously we won't be up on it. And it doesn't look like it wants to go too much lower here. We are bidding 186.12s right now. I don't know why. Just put bid enter and went down a couple pennies, because you never know what levels are going to hold here. So let's see if 186 holds. Sorry, I was looking at the other screen. Oh, sorry, I'm on here's AMD. So here we go. We are bidding 12s. There it is. Okay, so nice move down. We just shorted this top here again. So we're making money back, guys. Like, I'm going to get another bid here at 10 if we can. We're making money back on these shorts, but we're not getting out of everything, because I don't know where the bottom's going to be. So we're just stair-stepping it out until it takes out the top again and again and again. Like, if this name falls, we could fall $2-3. So to take a shot here for 20 cents and then take out half for 20 cents gives you that free lottery ticket if and when this name does fall to the downside. But you can play it the same way long, right? So you can go long right now at 186.20, get out if it breaks 186, and sell it at the, okay, hopefully it comes down, and sell it at the high of the day. It's the same trade over and over again. So we're now out of half for this risk. So that's what we're doing right now. Let's see if AMD now drops out. Good little money-making opportunity to the back end right there for that. And then ARM does break out through 140. I'm going to take more short there because, again, because of the spread, I want to give this a little bit more room. We're not out of everything there on ARM, but it did just break a little bit higher. And this is why you do it, and this is what we just talked about with AMD. So there's the risk to reward. Again, that's why we talk about it. 20 cents, roll with house money and see if it drops. I'm not sure if it's going to, but we just took 186. So let's see what happens here. There it goes again, right back up there to the upside. So I feel like we're talking right. It's just the market's not reacting as dramatic as I thought it would at some point.
CRM broke the highs.
Oh my God.
It's still going. Yeah, forget about the dip buy. We might not get a dip buy in CRM the way this thing is going. BTC just pulled back nicely in there. So I'm into Coinbase. Didn't really get an ad. Just never got into VWAP there. So we're looking for it to press into 205. If it breaks 200, I'm out in front of 98s. Micron's still in. I'm in and out and back in on NVIDIA. It wicked the top. So if I get wicked out, it actually did not break this lower high. So that's my bad. I actually put the stop in the wrong place in that particular situation. It never broke the high, so I jumped back in, and we'll see if this can get underneath that VWAP. So we're still only short as the market is trying to put in a lower high. Feel like at least this time I'm on some weaker names, relatively speaking, but that doesn't mean they absolutely have to work. So if there's a long to be had right now at CRM, that's the one I feel like I want to be in. Breaking out this top, I like the dip. Maybe we'll look at 302, 303. It's trying to break the 05. If buyers step up in front of 305 and it consolidates above 05s, that would be a fresh high, and you just go long off of that long top consolidation. For now, coin's working. It's about $1.90 in the money, looking for about $3 there, and we're back into NVIDIA, been in Micron the entire way. Just keeping an eye on like AMD here. Like if AMD doesn't pull back, I feel like
now
at some
187.
point, yeah, it's just not going to matter. Like NVIDIA is not going to work if AMD is still going to the upside. 190 could be in play.
Wow. Oh yeah, 190. Wow, this just continues to go.
I got to pull up a weekly chart on this.
So we got out. So by the way, ARM did pull back, which is kind of funny there. So AMD is now through 187, by the way. I just want to look at ARM quickly. This name could go, like with AMD just really starting to pump again right now, it just broke through 187. So again, watch out for that 186.50. We talked about that risk to reward. But yeah, it's
blue sky setup right now on that thing.
The whole market is really starting to go. I mean, we'll save Mara. I know Sharif just was into this yesterday or a couple days ago. We'll save that for him. Mara down today, down 14, 15%. Looking like it wants to get lower here through 26.50. I'm not sure if you have to pay for shorts, but you are going to have to watch out for the SSR right now, down 14%. I guess going long on AMD was the right answer on that one as it continues to go upside right now. ARM is back into a level that we're trying to get a little bit more short on ARM, and we did. So if that fades out, maybe this is the safest chip name in the spot.
So I'm just going to quickly...
Already made money on it.
Because you'll see I'm only in Coinbase now. So here's Micron. The first short was good. I'm just going to get on the right page. The second short, fail. You're back above VWAP. Come to my chart for a second so we can see here, guys.
How far is AMD
We're back
going?
above VWAP here.
Wow.
So it's starting to break back out. This is the one I would rejoin if I see some weakness, but not when we're pressing like this. We'll let things calm down a little bit here. NVIDIA off of VWAP. Oh, I got those bad wicks again. I'll zoom back in so you can see. Off VWAP is now breaking out, so we tried the short. That's not going to work. I'm actually thinking I should be getting out of this Coinbase in front of 200. When I look over at, 6,300 is trying to hold. We're going to go to Sector Watch Videra. I'm going to take this at the 200 level on Coinbase based on the bid I just saw on BTC. So I'm going to jam out of that trade. Quickly take the $2 and run because the shorts have not been working. And I just saw a bid pick up there, and we bounced off 200 on coin. So we'll get 03 to 01s and just be happy that we're actually be able to bag a winner on a short trade. Come back and regroup because it's been a wild one this morning. If you shorted chips, I've lost on every chip name that I shorted. Affirm actually worked for a little bit. Everything else stunk. Thankfully, we were able to get something out of Coinbase there. CRM, I don't want to chase that long, but I do like the strength I see. Let's go to Adara for Sector Watch, see what else is pumping.
Lots of sectors showing distinct strength and weakness here. Of course, a lot of strength in electronic technology. AMD, NVIDIA, Intel, all to the upside here, along with a lot of these other chip names. Google and Meta, also pretty strong here in technology services, and it's also worth watching because Neil just mentioned CRM trying to make a move back here to the upside amidst some pretty strong look in general for technology services. Finance, a little bit mixed, but mostly positive. Health technology, pretty negative here. Retail trade, pretty mixed. Amazon, Home Depot to the upside. Walmart here a little bit to the downside. Consumer, commercial services, pretty weak as well. Visa, MasterCard, both down. And health services, not as negative as it's been the last couple of days with news of that United Health antitrust investigation by the DOJ, but still a little bit weaker when compared to some of these other stronger sectors here, guys.
All right, I'm just thinking here, instead of just being obsessed with AMD and everything, our Amazon short has actually been fine, and it looks like it's trying to go lower right now. So we should just get off of that obsession with advanced micro devices and everybody else for right a second, and look maybe at names like Neil just mentioned there with Micron, or no, what was the short?
Coinbase is
Coinbase.
weak.
Yeah, so looking at like other names that potentially are something else, right? And so that's the thing. The market is super strong. I just noticed people saying there, like, when are the longs going to pop in? I mean, what about at 18,000? It's not that this market right now, I don't think that this market's really in too much trouble to the downside. It's only up 0.5 right now. And I just feel like when you're looking, the NAS, first of all, the ES is only up 0.17. It's just when you look at some of these names and what's been happening here, they've just been high side takes over and over and over again. And it's just because I feel like like I said, we're looking at names that aren't giving anything really except for shorts, except for longs. So the shorts have been getting crushed. But that's why I wanted to go back over to Amazon and just say, like, you know, this name at 175, Apple, like we still have Apple. Apple's right now is $1. Thanks for bringing that up. I didn't even notice it.
This is breaking 181.
Yeah, $1 in the money now for Apple. So like, look at that, man. We wrote down on here on the sticky note that we wanted 182 on Apple. So that's $1, right? So it's about being obsessed with the wrong names. And I'm here to tell you that's me. Hi, I'm Sean. And I just played the wrong plays today. We had Amazon too short too early, and then we were just sort of been watching out for AMD here and watching some of that fun. But yeah, we'll wait. 18,000 just got tested right there. So let's wait to see. We are in an AMD short, but I'd rather not talk about it. And then Apple right now, 181, right into the day's low. Let's hold on to this one. Maybe this is a good. Yeah, there you go. See, just took $1 off. Google short.
Kyle, you're right. Tesla was a short as well. Just didn't quite work my way into that one. It just, I don't know, it didn't get quite to where I wanted it. But this is what you should be doing. If you think the market's stair-stepping after making that high and will fail 18,000 and you couldn't get through that overhead resistance, and you want to look for something short, it's just a matter of something weak. Now, this just happened. I don't want to get away from Tesla because I think the O2s could be something. But look at the wick that just happened. I just got it stopped out on Micron, and then it put this candle on my 3-minute. So it did that nice little wick top back underneath, so I'm back into the short. If I like a stock for a short, I'm usually going to re-enter on a move like that. Coinbase, I still think we can give it another try. So right after someone shows up to bounce it off the 200 level, get out, it pops to 01.5, and then immediately breaks 200. So Coinbase looks weak as well. So Coin looks weak, Tesla looks weak. Not really sold about Meta just yet, one way or another. It keeps failing that 490. After the breakout of 490 worked, the 490 level has been big resistance on Meta. It needs to find bids above before that's long again. Back to Adara.
Yeah, worth keeping an eye on Microsoft here. MSFT, Wall Street Journal releasing a report late last night that the SEC is looking into OpenAI with regards to whether or not it deceived investors with the ouster of Sam Altman back in November. So they've sent subpoenas as of December, asking, also apparently is according to the Wall Street Journal, asking people who are involved in this case to keep any internal memos or any internal communication. So looking into Sam Altman and OpenAI as a whole here is the SEC, according to the Wall Street Journal, guys.
Yeah, I know. We were talking
But it was a sell all day yesterday, though.
Yeah, it really sold into the close. We talked a little bit about that earlier. Okay, so yeah, Beyond Meat, interesting name. Have a look at that one. Still that 40% short float. Amazon. So we just took a 65 fill there. We waited down here at VWAP, missed it. It only got to 30s, so that was something there that we wanted to watch out for. And here comes AMD. I was trying to find out some bids where to possibly put some bids here right now on AMD. What about 186.50? for an area, 186.70. Okay, here we go. Now we're really coming in. So let's do that now. Let's put one down there in the 80s now, because that's where we tend to bounce. And here it is. We said we wanted to wait for this. There it is. Now it's finally back into the gates of hell. It's a $1 winner right there. You know, I'll just speak for myself, obviously, but I'm not going to be green here today. So we're going to take profit. When this falls down, we just took $1 on that trade. We're going to see if it can go even further than that. And I actually think, honestly, 180 bounce on Apple, like if we can get down there, that's probably something that we want to look at. So I was just thinking, like, what's going to be the next big trade? It might be that Apple. And look at that. There it is right there. Like, that was a pretty good out down there at 186.75 as it just pumps up 50 more cents.
So I'll tell you right now, this is the first day, maybe the second day of this month. I feel like it might be the first. It's the first day of this month that I have 2 losing trades bigger than a winning trade, which is a rule I'd like to try to stick to. And it's the second day of this month that I have at least one of those happen. So that's not going to be a recipe for success. I tend to have tighter stops, not try to hold things against me. So it doesn't, like if I am shooting 50%, I should be up on the day. If I'm shooting 40%, I should be close to flat. But today, I allowed Intel to be bigger of a loss than, say, a Coinbase win. I allowed, NVIDIA to be a bigger loss than like a Meta win. Like that's the kind of thing that gets you into trouble. All that said, you got to move on. 18,000's back on the bid again because why not? That's how the market wants to roll. I'm back in a MU. Meta is still not breaking 490, which is a little bit annoying. They have to get away from Meta looking for a long there. But the dip buy in CRM, I was looking for 02s. This consolidation here, it actually just held 03s. So might just jump into this one off of the 303 level instead of the 302. This looks like a pretty solid breakout trade on CRM. Above 04, just a reminder to everybody, above 04 is technically like a 52-week high. Like that was a previous 52-week high on Salesforce.
Man, that is hilarious. We just take $1 on AMD and it goes right back up $1 immediately once we took that $1 down there. And so there it is right now, back up to 180. We just got filled down there at 186. Well, we just showed you 186.75. Now it's breaking 188. There you go. See ya. So there it goes, breaking through 188. So there it goes. We talked about taking small profits, and like we just mentioned, man, don't feel bad. Like if you guys are shorting this, obviously Neil just explained it as well. Taking these lumps today, just make sure that you have. There it is. See, there's the pushback. So that's it, right? Like you take it a little bit early, you miss it, and then if you wait and able to catch it, sometimes you can get those 25, 30, 50 cent dollar pullbacks. Looks like one's happening right now on AMD, which is why we just shorted it at 80 cents and got out at O's, right? 20-cent hit on it is fine, but that's how you want to trade these things, I feel like, for now anyways. All right, it's Money Talks, and today we'll have to go find out what that dollar's doing. Good short by you, Daryl, on Google.
Well, AMC is just a dog.
Bit of downside for the DXY right now at 103.8, but it was lower right when we got this economic data in the morning. So quite a bit of economic data that we got today. PCE price index month over month coming in pretty much as expected. Same here with the core PCE price index month over month. We also got jobless data here, which was higher than expected, so 215,000 versus 209,000 for initial jobless claims in the U.S. We have lots of Fed speakers to keep an eye on heading into the rest of the day as well. Fed Bostic started speaking right now at 10:50. 11, we'll get Fed's Goolsbee. 1:15, we're getting Fed's Mester, and then at 8:10 tonight, we get Fed's Williams. So lots of Fed speak spread out throughout the day. We have a couple more Fed speakers tomorrow night and afternoon as well. So lots on the docket with regards to economic news and Fed data that could be impacting the DXY as we head into the rest of the day, guys.
Docket talk right there. This market is a rocket today, but now it's starting to,
on the docket.
Yeah, finally starting to pull back just a little bit. You know what we didn't look at today? C3 AI. Like, talk about a name that was pumping up earlier. Wow, and still going. Look at this, $37 there today. We were talking about this earlier, in and around 35. Has that nice move to 37.50, and now hovering around 36 and change. So up 23%. C3 AI giving some people some feels right there. So nice little move on that one for C3 AI, up 23 and change right now as well. So All right, we're just short. We'll ride with Amazon until it gets back in, and if not, we'll take out that high at 175.25. So we'll short this right now. We should have stuck with the weaker names. That's why I shutted you out, Daryl, because you mentioned that you were almost $2 in the money on Google. I mean, that was, again, we talked about this name earlier, how weak it was. So if we wanted to short anything, it should have been this. But then, you know what, I think back, honestly, Daryl and everybody, it's just like, I still feel like Amazon, if you take away today's candle, you know, I feel like Amazon was also pulling back. So I'm not necessarily too upset about the short, other than that it didn't work. So I feel like we picked the right names, but sometimes you don't get the right execution follow through on the day. So that's fine. Let's see if Amazon does pull back now. We're in this name. We can make it back. It just needs to get back to 174. So if that happens, hopefully we're still in it. We will average it out as it goes down. AMD's right back to 188, by the way. So
it wants 190.
Wow.
You're not even getting reasonable dip buys. Tesla is now consolidating off the bottom. I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see the perspective of Tesla here. 198. I saw someone in the chat saying it's heading to 198. I don't disagree. I've got my support line drawn at the 198 level. It closed at 02s. I think it's breaking down right now. It might be a 200 break into 198. I thought short the pops into 203. I was wrong. It was short the pops into 202. If we get another chance at that, hopefully the market likes us enough for it. Otherwise, it's 200 breakdown. And remember AMC? They reported. See, we went an entire morning without talking about AMC after earnings. For all the apes out there, that kind of shows you how much the market cares about AMC these days. But it is down 12%. It's holding the bottom here. If this breaks, so the problem with this is if it breaks the consolidation down, it's SSR. Meaning you can take a short as it breaks that level, you can fire the order, but unless you get an uptick, you might not get a fill. Doesn't mean you won't get filled, it just means it's not an absolute guarantee. But this is a nice down on earnings, weak. It breaks this consolidation down, I'll take the shot, and then you can just kind of throw the stop at the top end of this. It's about 10 cents worth of risk on AMC, and locates are free on AMC. At least, it's like, I'm pretty sure about that.
They are, I tried already, because my trade was breaking through this 430, which is crazy because we should have shorted the top. Like if we were waiting for a short there in 430, it could still happen, but I don't know. All right, so right now, 20 cents of the money. We just took a little piece on Amazon at 80, but I have no more bids until 50, and then we have a bid down here at 174. I did want to check in on DraftKings quickly. Oh yeah, that was the other name there. So Tesla, right now looking to break through. So we talked about Rivian having a nice little bounce back. We will check that out, but Tesla, this is the weak one. And again, it's just like, pretty obvious when you look back, because there's that 205 hit 3 times. There's the break, so let's see how far we can get going now, down to the downside on Tesla. The trade was already over with because you should have just watched this 50 period. You could have been short up here at 203.50, then again at 202 and change, but right now at 200, coming in. I remember 198. Yeah, there it is.
198.
Yeah, 198, a pretty key level there. So if you are not YOLOing, but if you are short looking for a level, maybe 198.50, 199 to cover a little bit of something. Okay, Amazon is making that move back in, but you know what it is? It's time for what's for lunch. We need to have something good today. And actually, I saw it. Well, it has nothing to do with what we have. Yesterday was sandwiches, I think was the main one yesterday. But today's, not bad. If you have any chicken dinner winners on board today, it's probably to the long side in the, well, a lot of you have shorts. But you will still have chicken, though, for lunch. And that is a tandoori grilled chicken with curried basmati rice and steamed peas. Not the end of the world there. That sounds okay.
I don't mind that at
Apple
all.
$1.50 in the money.
I don't mind that at all. I took the break on 200 on Tesla, but it couldn't hold the bottom range, which was the 250 level, so we give it about 50 pennies. I still like the 02. I still think this is a short, but it's going to have to set something else up. The second time breaking can sometimes be better than the first. I still think there's $2 of room down to the 198 level, so there's plenty of opportunity. I'll enjoy the salad today for sure, but taking some of that tandoori chicken feels like it's going to be on the radar for me.
Isn't that just so funny that like we talk about trying to get those shorts, and then like we finally get one, and it like, you know, like you get stopped out. Same thing's happening to me on AMD. Tesla's a perfect example there.
I think we can short the pop here though. Like it's a time of day thing. Like at this time of day,
ARMS
you'll take
falling.
like I would take less shares on a break
Right.
at 10:58 than you would at like 9:40 because it's 11 o'clock, right? Like this is not the time that the breakouts are going to be as good. All that said, sometimes the second or third break can be a little bit better because you rinse some people out, and then the second time it goes, not as many people are going to be in it. I like it at 02s for a fade.
Oh, we got a
Coinbase
fill
is
there.
trying to take 200 as well. But I'll give Tesla at least a couple more shots down here. To me, it's a relatively weak name, and you got to stick with it. We got 3 minutes to go until we go over and learn to trade with Adara and Sharif. And today, it has been all about trying to limit the hits. Because if you're short, like I was short from the very begining, right at 8:30, short initial pop on AMD. It was difficult to be up on a day like that when that happens, but at least try to find the relatively weak names. I'm trying to short the names that are weak. If it's making lower highs, then I want to stick with the short there. And if I find something strong like a CRM, look for VWAP retraces, those kinds of things. Tesla setting up either to give me this 02, hopefully we can get that short closer to VWAP this time.
Look, yeah, I mean, thanks. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, man. Thank you so much for watching. I hope we worked through.
How about this one?
Some of these.
Like, subscribe, and share the show that takes you into the heart of the market every day.
Yep. Definitely like and subscribe for that. So there it is right there. You will be getting the Professor and Adara coming through here as they talk about something, the walking man or something like that, the running.
Random walk theory.
They're going to, they're talking about Burning Man, so that should be a lot of fun there today. Burning Man. Okay, so here we go. We'll watch out for that, but they're coming up right now on Learn to Trade.
Fire Festival was more fun.
Fire Festival, yeah. Hopefully they'll be.
Come on,
Yeah, hopefully they'll be talking about that, but that's coming up very, very soon. So again, you know, more topics. Oh, you know what? Are you guys taking suggestions for topics? Okay, good. So I was going to say that. So drop it in the comment section of the show, Sharif. I think that's a good idea. Or in Bears versus Bulls can take it.
Yes.
Some of those notes. So yes, and more yeses. I like that. Okay, so just real quick before we wrap it up and throw it over there. All right, so Amazon making the move down. I just want to show everybody Apple. This was one that we talked about shorting into 182. We actually wrote it down that this name is the relatively weak name. In the Mag 7. I mean, if you're just looking at it, it's down on the year. We talked about Google being down on the year, but not after today. So anyways, just be careful with it. Apple, looking at that 180. I feel like there is going to be a good trade opportunity down there, but it's got to get there first.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's going to happen on a day like today where we're still above VWAP and the day's being carried by these ridiculous chip names. And I'm just saying ridiculous because of how they're moving. They've been absolutely fantastic today to the long side. So we'll see. We are back in the short. We're catching some more profit here. Short 188. We just got filled in the 70s there again on this name. The scalping hasn't been right, but it sure as hell has been fun. But you're here to make money, not to have a good time. So hopefully you have both.
Ideally, both is the way to go.
There it is. If you're long AMD, man, today's been a fun day. It's straight up.
I mean, realistically,
Straight up.
I'll tell you this right now, like when you trade, if you win 100% of your days, then you're either cheating or lying in the markets. And if you enjoy sport, like you enjoy playing it at the end of the day. So when you're a trader, you know
There
that
goes
it's par for
AMD
the course.
finally.
It's fun to trade active markets. That's what I think you got to get at. But overall, this one has been from the get-go pretty strong. We're into resistance. We're back underneath 18,000. Tesla's about to break down again. So we'll take that shot. Coinbase is very close to the 200 consolidation break as well. Coin and Tesla have been relatively weak. I like those, but it's past 11 o'clock now, which means I'm supposed to throw you over to the random walk theory and the Professor and Adara.
Bye-bye, AMD.
People, welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl Adara, and I'm not going to forget myself today.